makes you think this. That's kind of how all of it works, but he's going off and doing the writer's job, which is really frustrating because then if that's open, that explains why this video is going to be so large as opposed to, I don't know. He's he's doing it. The one thing I'll give him credit for, even with what I'm complaining about, is that he at least he's going after the arguments, because there are a lot of the things that we're saying he's predicting that we're going to say, and I think that's part of what made me entertained by it and stick with it.
He put a lot of effort into it. I do appreciate that, and I wish he just broke it down into like 10-minute or 20-minute pieces, like on each point, just so it would have come out in stages, so we could have talked to him beforehand. But that's fine. He's his own person. He can make his videos any way he likes, which is cool. So, yeah, let's get going. So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Smudcast number 104. We are looking at part 3 of Why Rey is Not a Mary Sue by the Goldman. And this is his official guide. And we spent a good 5 hours yesterday just slogging through it and getting stuck in the last 10 minutes of... minutes, was it 50 to 1 hour of his video. So a lot of people were really tired. We were up till about 3 a.m. UK time, so Shiny is not here with us today. He has to get some sleep or a life. He can't just be on Smudcast all day. And luckily we have another UK resident, that's Voice on the Radio, who's be joining us shortly. And as always, we have the very articulate Glib here to entertain and preach various American values that I usually don't get up in Canada. So, bravo. All right, guys. I did not share the watch together yet. I'm a twit. Let me just get that for you. There we go. Yeah, my mind was like, oh, I have to remember where we left off and what was he saying, and zoom over there.
I'm cool, calm, and collected with this. I just hope that we can get through a substantial amount. I think the other part of what was keeping us so long was that we had so many people's opinions. And not that that's a bad thing. I think that that's a strength. But it also makes each pause longer, as it were.
Yeah, it got really thick near the end, and I was getting a little emotional, a little tired, and like, ooh. Not the best state of mind to critically analyze another person's thought process. It's always you get a bit emotional. Anyway, let's get going.
Now, before I address the second part of the fight, which takes place after Rey gets away from the edge of the cliff, I wanted to introduce something I feel can accurately describe strength in the Force, and that is the Force parabola. Now, you might be thinking, what the hell is this?
Well, let
me explain. Think of the x-axis as the side of the Force you are on. The more right you are, the stronger you are with the light side of the Force. The more on the left side you are, the stronger you are with the dark side of the Force. And think of the Y...
He's using the symbol for the rebels and the...
No, that's the Jedi symbol.
That's the Jedi symbol? Really?
Yeah. They designed that after... this is more of like an EU thing. It's similar to the rebel symbol intentionally. But he's using the Empire symbol for the dark side. That's the weird part.
Yeah. All right. I mean, okay. That's fine.
Axis as overall power. The higher you are, the stronger you are. The lower you are, the weaker you are. So basically...
Wait. How about Revan, who mastered both sides? Is he like really, really weak? How does
I
that
think
work?
that he's just going off of... I don't think he's going to mention Revan in here. I don't know. So I don't mean to invalidate that. I agree with what you're saying, but you know what I mean. Like Yoda and Palpatine, he's saying, are these strength levels. And this XY axis is represented by the Jedi, or I guess which is the good side, and the light side, dark side, right? So you can be further to the light side and further to the dark side, and then I guess the vertical axis is strength. Strength in the Force is measured how, though?
Yeah, it's kind of like again, with KOTOR, you have Jolie Bindo, you have all these gray Jedi running around who are really strong in the Force, especially Revan. And it's not about being one or the other. It's philosophy versus power. So they were mentally in the middle. They believed in love and caring, but also, defeating your enemies. But they weren't crazy Sith masters until you got to Revan and all the people he acquired. So, and you could influence people either way. So the Force is its own thing. The philosophy is a separate thing, I always thought.
Well, this is one of those things where your headcanon of the what the Jedi are going to be like in the past is going to come into effect, because as far as the Jedi go, that's one way of thinking about the light side of the Force. And then when you have something like KOTOR, there's a deeper thought process, and then also a deeper engagement in how somebody would go further to the left or further to the right.
Was it
the dark side?
Was it John, or was it? I can't remember the guy who did it. He had another graph about what does balance of the Force mean, and he was like, "Well, here's all the Jedi here. There's so many Jedi, so that means you need a lot of dead Jedi to balance the Force or something." Like, I remember we went over a video like that, and we were just laughing our asses off. Like, what is he talking about?
I do remember that video. I don't remember which video that was, though.
Yeah. Anywho.
I don't know. I never really thought about that kind of stuff that much, but this is interesting, because how does this tie into Rey? Yoda is already way lower than I would place him.
Yeah.
But I don't have any material evidence or technical evidence. I don't have. All I have is Anakin is powerful Jedi. They're all they're like astounded by. He's 9 years old or something, and he's got a midichlorian count that's about the same height, size as Yoda. Okay. So that means that they're both powerful, and if Yoda is like an ancient Jedi, all these things that I can deduce, then Palpatine is way more powerful than Yoda.
Well, look at Anakin in Episode 3. First, we find out he has more potential than Yoda in Episode 1, and then Episode 3, he's following Palpatine around, killing Sith and whatnot. Still a Jedi. And really freaking powerful. Does that mean he's Sith? No. He's definitely not Sith.
Or Dark Jedi or whatever, Dark Side, whatever. Yeah, I don't think so.
It doesn't make sense, no.
What I think this is one of those things where the flexibility is better, where someone might you might be able to write a story where somebody that is usually light side, there might be an incident where they turn to the dark side for very brief amount of time, but it's such a sharp swing that it comes out of them. That might be interesting. Or if you want to restrict that, then it has to be gradual. But that would be, I feel like, a different kind of corruption. I think the dark side as a metaphor represents the potential for a lot of different kinds of story and corruption. It just happened to be this kind of way in this story,
I seem to recall not in the movies, but the Mace Windu character in the books and what have you. He uses his emotions in his fighting style, which was one of his ways of curbing his dark side feelings to become more violent in his attacks, even though he's a Jedi master. So he was really, really strong. That was his strength. He was really good at fighting, whereas Yoda was really good in the Force in general. So they were like the big dudes on the council.
Hello, I'm back.
Hey, voice, how you been?
I'm good. Sorry, I had a call to take on the other side, but I'm here.
Okay, well, here we have, as you can see on the screen, if you're joined the group, a wonderful fan scale, XY axis, about something or other. We're trying to figure it out.
What is this?
Apparently, the further you get on one side or the other, the stronger you get, which we've been debating about whether that's even a thing in the movies. It's certainly not a thing in the books and the games. So, yeah, trying to wrap our brain around this, but we still can't do it.
Well, I mean, this guy's been using stuff like Clone Wars as well for like backup to some of his points. The character of Ahsoka is extremely powerful and sits neither on one side or the other. So
yeah,
I can't reconcile in my brain all of the different levels of power and stuff. You know what I mean? I have to be selective. So as far as we're going with the movies, I guess he's trying to say that the middle power level of the Force would be Yoda. That's smack dab in the middle of the graph, and then the extreme is Palpatine. So what else? Let's see what else we got. Where's Ray fall? Because I'm willing to bet it's going to be the opposite of Palpatine.
Here's Joe Crazy before we continue. This is number 13, the 13th quote from Kingdom Hearts. Just stop it. You treat people's hearts like their bodies on a shelf, but they're not. Bottles.
Damn it.
Bottles. Sorry. I fixed one spelling error and I screwed up another. I apologize. Anyway.
I'm trying to say that the more committed you are to a certain side of the Force, the stronger you will be. But if you are more afflicted and you can't really choose a side, then you are most likely not going to be as powerful. Prior to Rey being up against the cliff, she's probably somewhere around here. She hasn't really tapped into the Force yet, and she's pretty much
Shouldn't she be neutral? She has no Force powers. She's got nothing.
Except from the moments where she quite clearly has insane Force power.
Yeah, so she would jump way up the scale and then back to zero? Is that...
This isn't even true.
I know.
This is a rule you've made up, Gold.
I know. It is. We're trying to wrap our brains around it.
There are fallen Jedi and grey Jedi who sit pretty much in the middle because they use both light side and dark side powers.
Yeah, we talked about Mace Windu and as well as Darth Vader. So
yeah, Gold has like fallen back on outside sources already to explain bits and pieces like the Clone Wars, and seems to omit this type of information because it's now in the way of his argument.
And like with back before when he was talking about inferring whether or not Rey has engineering skills or whatnot, at least he was referencing things that are directly in the movie. He's taking a huge leap with this explanation, and he's leaning quite heavily on it.
It's a weak explanation. He only showed 3 Force users, and we're like, oh dear, this is not going to be very helpful. If he actually went through the prequels, he would have probably changed his mind. But anyway, let's keep going. Alex Halo, thank you, sir. The Archer class is made out of archers. Rin, yeah, there's lots of great quotes from Fate State Night series. I know. Yeah, so far we haven't been heard the most popular one, but maybe it's in the chat. Anyway, let's keep going.
Just running around. But once she remembers to tap in the Force, she instantly...
Once she remembers, of course, that thing she never done before. The thing she never heard of before.
skyrockets to somewhere around here, because she does have a lot of raw power. One could even argue that she's somewhere around here, considering she is using some of the dark side towards the end of this fight.
And this is why Rey's not a Mary Sue?
She's like jumping around. What are you talking about?
So then you can jump around, right? Okay.
How?
You can gain power from different sides of the Force.
How can you jump around 2 different philosophies and techniques and be at the same power level? How is that possible? One moment you're Sith, next moment you're Jedi, really?
How is this also proving that he is literally saying that Rey has a massive amount of power in the light side and can jump around to the dark side at will, but this is supposed to be an argument for why she's not a Mary Sue.
And is he getting the whole dark side thing from her facial expression? Because I don't remember her using any kind of dark side powers.
She's the lightning.
Oh, is he okay?
And the idea that you draw power from the dark side through like rage and passion, and that would be something. But at the same time, I'm not sure. I think that would be actually a pretty excellent way to portray the light side of the Force, like somebody just not effortlessly, but like meditatively defending, and then the dark side would have more, passion, because that's kind of the metaphorical theming that the characters seem to be talking about. So I don't know, but I can't get a bead on whatever her perspective is on the Force, because she never really talks about the Force.
She's never in tune with anything. She just closes her eyes and somehow she's stronger than Kylo, or she closes her eyes and somehow she lifts a mountain, or she closes her eyes and she's supposed to meditate and she cracks the earth beneath her. It's just like, okay, stuff just happens. Like this graph does not represent whether that's emotional or chaos or happenstance. We don't know.
given the context of the movie, he's probably somewhere around here.
Why would he be over there? I thought she's supposed to be a
He's
dyad.
so weak.
He's
He's
supposed
such
to
a
be
weak little.
They're balanced, aren't they?
Lost to a girl who's never done a thing with a lightsaber.
They're a
You know,
dyad,
well-
right? They're equal.
When I first saw that scene, I'm going to admit it, when I first watched The Last Jedi, and that scene came out where Snoke goes, you failed, bested by a girl who had never held a lightsaber. I thought, oh my god, Rian Johnson's going to ridicule The Force Awakens for its terrible, terrible writing. And
With his
actually
terrible,
make up-
terrible writing.
No, I had absolute faith up until like halfway through the movie that it was actually going to be really good, and it was just a slow build. And so when that scene came up, I was like, "Oh shit, he's calling out JJ. Show us how it's done, Ryan." And then Ryan did his best, and I was like, "No, no,
Go back.
go back, please."
Reverse.
Now you may be surprised, but this brings up a point that I feel no one mentions. Kylo Ren
because no one has ever come up with this crazy idea, but okay.
is emotionally compromised. The act of killing his father made him tremendously weaker in that moment.
up.
Wait a second. So you're trying to say after Snoke tells him to kill his father, he'll make his training will be complete, etc., etc. He'll be stronger. So he does it, and he's not stronger. Is that what you're saying? Snoke lied. It was all a joke. Like, what was the point?
But Snoke was Palpatine the whole time.
Yeah, but
So Palpatine was lying.
I know, but
Killing
like,
his-
what is
killing
the
his
point of being
father-
Sith then? Enact your emotions. He enacted in his emotions, and he got weaker. What?
Was the point? I thought the point was that Palpatine was trying to get them both in the same place at the same time, so he could suck their energy out of them and become powerful again. I thought that was legitimately the plot of this trilogy, wasn't it? Isn't that what T. Ross is saying?
He wanted to die by Rey's hand, and that would somehow cause Rey's spirit to take over. I don't know. Something would happen.
I thought he was. I thought his whole thing that he was doing was he was like absorbing their energy.
Well, that was like a random
Because they're the
thing.
dyad?
Yeah, that was a thing he didn't know that it could do that. But that's
For some reason, he can't just use a back to tank to heal himself.
Yeah.
He has to use a force back dyad.
Well, I think he wanted to die by Rey's hand, and therefore his spirit would go into Rey's body, something like that. But there was
That doesn't make any sense.
The ritual was never explained. There was no like setup. It was just, this is going to happen when you kill me. Like, why? Okay. Does she have to kill you with the lightsaber? Does she have to like be in another room? Like, how does this transfer happen? Like, no idea.
Well, the biggest part of the prequels is not knowing exactly what Emperor Palpatine's plan is, or Sheev or whatever. Yeah, just kind of
Creamy
like
Sheev.
things happen. Yeah, creamy Sheev. Things just kind of happen, and he's like, "Oh yes, everything's going according to plan." We're like, "What? Really? Is that true?" And then he gets his way in the end. We know that he was trying to consolidate power, make himself his empire. More or less, that we think that's the case, at least. But we never.
Nothing is going as I've foreseen.
It's all ruined.
Right. And so then the sequel trilogy kind of like, by the end, kind of doubles down on that whole philosophy of what is his real plan? What does he want to happen at any given moment? If his stated intentions are true, nothing is going according to plan at any point during the sequel trilogy.
What if this is all one big bullshit? He's just lying through his teeth the entire episode. He's just, you are a dyad in the Force. Yeah, that must be. And he's just doing random shit. How could he?
I just wanted you to come visit Granddad.
Yeah. Wanted to try out my
Nobody comes to see me anymore. They can't get through the gas cloud.
Wanted to try my cool vampire lightning powers. And, ooh, they work.
Look at all of Granddaddy's friends. They all dress like him.
Look at all my cool ships. Aren't they cool? They can't go up, but they're cool.
Did you like my Snoke costume?
These are my hobbies, Giles. Do you think I'm cool?
I also collect stamps.
Over here is where I keep my coin collection.
What was his plan? Does anyone know what his plan was? Because I don't remember him revealing it, aside from...
I legitimately thought he was going to use their force powers, like a vampire, and that was going to recharge his body.
Well, that's what he ended up doing once he figured it out. But before that, his plan was, I guess, just to take over Rey's body. But before that, who knows? It's very confusing. Yeah.
What if Rey died or never existed or whatever? It's like, oh, I guess I'll just not do that or take over someone else's body. I mean, what's wrong? Is there some genetic reason for this?
Why did he choose to commit to the drain Rey of her force powers plot at the same time he chose to commit to the Conquer the Galaxy plot? Why wouldn't he want the functioning body first and then the space laser guns second?
There's no time. No time.
Now I only watched
except for the 16-hour deadline he sets himself.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. I watched it only once, and I never got that. And then I heard later people talking about that 16-hour deadline. I was like, when was that? But it makes it so much worse having that in there. Why have a 16-hour deadline? Why not just do your plan? Why announce it at the beginning? It doesn't make
a lunch
any
date.
sense.
After 12, because everyone's going to be eating and they won't hear the announcement. So maybe after they sit down. Okay.
I need to take a nap afterwards.
Just look at it. This is not the face of someone who is strong with the dark side. Remember how in the beginning of
Okay, sir.
Stop the blaster bolt with his hand.
That's not dark side powers, apparently.
Looks kind of stoic to me. I don't know. Mace Windu's kind of stoic. He's really strong. Is Mace Windu have the face of a strong dude in the Force?
Also, wasn't this guy saying earlier that he's strong with the dark side because he can fight through the pain of having a hole in his chest from the crossbow bolt?
Well, yeah, that's show don't tell. Remember, that's really important to him.
But he's now saying that Kylo's not strong with the dark side. But earlier he was saying he can push through that kind of pain precisely because he's strong with the dark side.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now I'm confused on Kylo's power as well as Rey's. Thank you.
Well, I think it just goes to point out the horrible writing at the end. Throughout the movie, really.
I would say
he is not strong with the dark side, but he survived the shot to the guts because he is strong with the dark side. You're welcome.
Yeah, it seems as if he's cherry-picking ideas and using opposite arguments to reinforce his conclusions. So this happens in the film, but it's good over here, but it's bad in my other explanation. It's like he's not taking an objective approach to information gathering and then just interpreting it. Great stuff.
the film Kylo was fast enough to freeze Poe's blaster shot, well, he was so caught off guard by his feelings, he couldn't do the same to Chewbacca's shot. If that's not enough, then remember it is emphasized numerous times in the next two films how the act of killing his father weakened him tremendously.
I see through the cracks in your mask. You're haunted. You can't stop saying what you did to your father.
Haunted does not
Remember those
mean
conversations with
weakened by.
Snoke?
And look at you. The deed split your spirit to the bone. You were unbalanced. Bested by a girl who had never held a lightsaber. You failed!
Wait, is unbalanced mean emotionally unbalanced or like dark side like what does he want? Like what does it mean when a Sith Lord says you're unbalanced? You're not dark enough, you're too dark, you're not focused, like your mind is not like what's going on?
It's unclear, and doubly so because everything we know about the Force, or Star Wars in general, says that Kylo should have, completed his training, fully embrace the dark side, and become much stronger in it. So the fact that it didn't happen that way isn't clever writing; it's bad writing because we don't understand why.
And doesn't that also show that Rey is so much more powerful than this supposed villain? because he's unbalanced or whatever. So we have this weaker villain, and then we have this god character over here who could dominate him a second ago or learn from him a second ago, read his mind, yada yada, all this other stuff, beat him in a fight. And she's not a Mary Sue. I don't know what he's trying to get at here. We have reasons why the villain is weaker, okay, but Rey over here, which is the whole argument, the whole point of this video, is to prove that Rey is not a Mary Sue. It's like, but how is she stronger than him?
Yeah. Rey isn't a Mary Sue because Kylo is weaker in their confrontation, where we think that he should be stronger.
Right.
So isn't that evidence for her being a Mary Sue, not in his favor?
It's not the strongest argument, but it's certainly in the right direction. Yeah. Snoke.
Well, I mean, the world is kind of, the rules of the world are kind of warping around Rey. I mean, from everything we know, Kylo should be stronger in the Force, but in that moment, Rey couldn't handle him if he was any stronger. So they nerf him for reasons we never understand throughout any of the movies.
Exactly.
Which is a symbol of a Mary Sue. The world changes to benefit her, to make this scenario happen. Here is Punish Berserker. Thank you, sir. Snoke meant that Kylo's balls were unbalanced and he needs to readjust his jockstrap. I don't know. Do Sith actually wear a cup or any sort of jockstrap? I don't know. I don't think it would matter when you have a lightsaber cutting through you. So.
Yeah, me too. I would honestly believe this is the single most important reason why he lost this fight. Kylo during this fight was too conflicted to commit to the dark side. In a perfect world, the bowcaster wound should have helped him out, but since he's
Wait.
What?
The bowcaster wound should have helped him, but it didn't? So you're saying because he's suddenly not as dark as he used to be after doing the thing that makes him more dark, when he gets hit and he's beating his chest and he's walking around and doing pirouettes and swinging his sword with no problems, because he's not as dark as he used to be, he's not driving power from the pain?
My brain.
I don't... How do you...
My poor brain.
I just don't... Holy crap. Like, either way, Rey is still stronger. If he's stronger as a result or weaker as a result, Rey still beats him.
Inflicted, the wound became a burden. So with Rey having a much stronger connection to the Force in this moment, it's not surprising she was able to overpower him. And it's not like Rey is fighting with much grace here either, she's just hacking and whacking at Kylo, simply just overpowering
Hacking and whacking
him.
and smacking.
This shot right here represents the lights.
There's a song about that.
Oh, hang on, we're on to themes.
Oh my goodness. How'd that work?
Queens.
Oh.
How did this theme get in here?
Yeah, the theme of hacking and slacking, or slashing.
Is it, you know, that the General Pride thing where he turns to the hangar and he's like, "How'd this ship get aboard?" It's that, but it's your face. Smut is like, "Where'd this theme come from?"
Yeah. How did we jump from talking about Kylo's dark powers not being powered up by pain, and then all of a sudden that's why he lost? It's like, oh, really?
Whose theme is this?
Where'd that come from?
You know, earlier he was saying that in this fight, Kylo really just wanted to defeat Rey, to beat her down so that he could capture her for Snoke. But that happened with in episode 5 with Luke and Vader. And when Luke started gaining the upper hand, because, you know, started getting a little bit better, so did Vader. He got more serious. He's like, okay, enough of this. And he just, you know, quickly just disarmed Luke. Beat him back, you know? And if that was really the case here, so would Kylo. And yet, that does not happen.
Here's Mark in 3D. Well, his stool isn't as dark as it used to be. Well, maybe he needs to eat more protein. I don't know. Who knows what Sith eat?
Nobody knows what people in Star Wars eat.
Well, they knew they drank. That's about it. Yeah. Well,
That's why you go to Disneyland. What are you going to get? Blue milk and smuggler's tea? Something stupid.
Well, there was freeze-dried food that Ray ate, the muffin thing.
Yeah, that
delicious. The foam ball.
Instant bread, whatever it was called. I don't know.
Absolutely disgusting, my friend.
Side overpower the dark side in this moment. So given her, she's just hacking and whacking at Kylo, simply just overpowering him. This shot right here represents the light side overpowering the dark side in this moment.
Okay.
So given Kylo Ren was extremely injured and emotionally compromised, and given that Rey does have a strong defensive skill set and is much more committed to the Force in this moment, it is not...
So because she's overpowering him offensively, but she's better at defense? Like, what? No. Come on.
The story either A, makes her more powerful than Kylo Ren, or makes Kylo Ren weaker than her, so Rey can win. But the story is doing that.
And Kylo has a triple-bladed lightsaber. He did not use that to his advantage, but he did with Finn, where he cuts Finn in the shoulder or whatever with the hilt.
The crossguard?
The crossguard, right. So in this case, where they're holding each other's wrists, like he could have easily just twisted his wrist to cut her, but nope, can't do that.
Not surprising that she won this fight. Now, I do believe that the debate on who should have won this fight will go on forever. Can we
quickly revise why is she powerful in the Force now again?
Okay, because she's really good defense, and she closed her eyes and focused for some reason.
Why didn't Kylo... Yeah. Sorry, go for it.
No, I was just going to say, why didn't Kylo do anything? He's just standing there letting her, he's just pushing against her. And he could have, kicked her at the very least.
He could have used...
If not, slid the lightsaber off. Or...
any number of force powers like he did before, where he threw up against a tree. But no.
Why didn't he ask her out on a date?
Join me. I can help you learn the ways. Like, okay.
Join me. I know a great place to go. It's called Dexter's Diner. You can get whatever you want there.
Here's Taker 610. Do we know Kylo actually was trained at all? Movies never show it. We are just assuming he knows what he is doing. Luke and Snoke are bad teachers. Well, yeah, obviously it's assumed that if you're part of a temple that where Luke takes students, that he is a student of Luke. He is learning under Luke. We don't need to literally see him, swing a wooden stick or whatever. So, yes, I think we can assume that's pretty much the case. What Snoke taught him, we have no idea. What Luke actually taught him, we still don't know. But we can at least guess that he has been doing it for a long time, and it's using the Force is one of his things. So, that's kind of a given, I think.
Stated in an effective way. Now, for the rest of the movie, Rey doesn't really do much. She leaves Starkiller Base and lands on Dakar. She gives Leia a big hug and then says goodbye to Finn, Leia, and BB-8 before embarking on a journey.
He's neglecting Rey hugging, or Leia hugging Rey over Chewbacca. That is a point against him, and he isn't having it. He isn't showing it.
And remember, Leia has not met Rey up until this point.
No.
Yeah, her family should have been Chewie, Finn, and who else?
Poe. Just turn to hug Poe. Also, why was Poe sent to collect the map as if it was his mission, but then Rey goes in his place? Like, I there's an argument for case she's in charge of this operation. She can't just up and leave because we don't know. But then again, Admiral Holdo's apparently second in command, so you'd think that she'd just be put in charge when Leia goes off to find Luke. But looking over that, from what we know in Episode 7, Poe's responsible for tracking down Luke. That's why he's in the mission at the beginning in the first place. So why does Rey go instead? Based on what? Why does Leia approve of this random girl she only just met to go find her brother?
Why don't they go together? Why don't they send a bunch of people?
Her brother that Rey thinks was a myth.
Well, she has force abilities. I mean, that makes some sense, but I agree. Poe should have been there. He either should have been the only one there, or it should have been him and Rey. It doesn't make sense for the new girl, who you don't really know anything about, to be trusted on this very important mission.
Here's some super chats. Jake the Surgeon, thank you, sir. Yes, more. Yeah, I guess that's a TLJ. No, is that TLJ reference?
More.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Punish Berserker, you guys just don't get it. Using your weapons and skills effectively in combat isn't part of my themes. I don't know what what do you say about a theme? I didn't even get that. Must have lost that part of the conversation. Taker 610, but we saw Luke's training, Smud. It's kind of shit. It's kind of non-existent in The Last Jedi, yeah. I want you to breathe. Keep breathing, Rey. And, stop cracking the earth beneath you. I'm going to go run away and be scared of you now. And what was the other lesson? Yeah, the Jedi are crap, and that's about it. Those are the 2 lessons. He had 3 lessons, but he only gave her 2. And she didn't really learn much.
To find. I've heard people say that Leia should have gone on the trip to find Luke, not Rey, but I disagree with this. Yeah, Leia would have probably had an easier time convincing Luke to leave the island and help in the fight, but Leia couldn't.
Well, then yeah, she definitely should have went, if you think that. What? I disagree. It's like, why? You just solved the problem of trying to get Luke on board.
Abandon the resistance. She is their leader, and based on the beginning of The Last Jedi, they knew they had to evacuate quickly. During a time of crisis, everyone looks towards their leader, so Leia definitely couldn't just leave them after the events of The Force.
I know, there was plenty of other leaders to organize people.
You've got Admiral Akbar and, of course, Holdo.
Lots of generals.
But she technically also... Okay, so context, what is he doing here? Hi everybody.
Hey,
So what exactly is he arguing for here? Is he just kind of arguing for sequel trilogy as a whole, or what is he doing?
People are saying that the character of Leia at the end of the movie should have gone on the Millennium Falcon to go get her brother.
She should have, yeah.
This is what other people are saying, and he's like saying no, she shouldn't have, because she's a leader of the resistance.
As opposed to the random nobody who could be a mole.
Oh, she doesn't know that yet.
I don't really have a problem with Rey going in general, but she should not have been the only one.
Yeah, someone else should have gone with her.
And I think Chewie should have been a little more involved.
She's the best weapon they got.
Chewie just sat there and did nothing.
Exactly.
Supposedly.
He broke a door down, and that caused Luke to stand up and go, "What? Where's Han?" That was it. Cut away to Kylo. Okay. Here's Jake the Surgeon. Leia would have convinced Luke to stop being grumpy, but she needed to be there to demote Poe. Logic yeah, I know. She couldn't do that over the phone, I guess. Gotta be in the scene. Gotta have the actors in the same scene.
What is logic?
What is logic in a Star Wars film? Yeah, good question. Better question. What is logic to a Star Wars fan?
Frustrating.
Awakens. Rey leaves, arrives on Ahch-To, and finds Luke, and the movie ends. Now that is it for The Force Awakens. But don't leave yet, we are only done with 1 film in this trilogy. We still got 2 more, so let's continue.
We get it. Jeez.
Now, of the 3 films in this trilogy, The Last Jedi is the one that features Rey the least, having her lowest screen time by far. So The Last Jedi won't be discussed as much as the other 2 films, but I definitely have a lot to say.
Definitely.
Now, Rey's first few scenes
Can we
doesn't
go
have
back
her
a second?
doing much. She won't be discussed as much
She
as
still has
the
the
other
most
2
screen
films,
time
but I
out of everyone
definitely
there.
have a lot to say. Now, Rey's
Because
first few
this whole
scenes
movie is
doesn't
a
have her
disjointed
doing much.
mess.
She hands Luke the lightsaber
Pause
and
it
he
back on that
tosses it.
thing.
Other 2 films.
Pause it. She still has the most screen time out of everyone there. So that defeats the point already, because by ratio, she is in the film more than anyone.
Holy cow, she has over double the next highest character. Oh, wow, I didn't realize she was in the movie so much.
So, yeah, it doesn't matter if this is the film that Rey is in the least, but she still has 30 minutes, which is more than anyone else. And again, 30 minutes is what, a quarter of the film?
Probably, yeah.
It's a fifth. The movie's 2.5 hours long.
Fucking hell.
Oh, too many hours long. That's how long it is.
It's an eternity of boring nothing.
So by that ratio, she is in the film the most still.
Yeah.
Films only have a lot to say. Now, Rey's first few scenes doesn't have her doing much. She hands Luke the lightsaber and he tosses it away. She goes to Luke's little hut, and when he doesn't answer, she brings Chewie to knock down the door. She tells Luke that they need to leave. Luke asks Rey where's Han, and then Rey summarizes the events of The Force Awakens to him.
Off screen.
She tells him how much the galaxy needs him and the Jedi Order back, but he tells her to screw off and goes through his daily routine, including drinking the infamous green milk. Remember how many people said that people loving her so quickly is a Mary Sue trait in The Force Awakens? Well, here Luke definitely doesn't seem to like her, so here's to debunking that criticism. I also found it quite interesting.
Okay. Except in episode
No. Okay, no.
Except in episode 9, he admits as a ghost that he does like Rey.
So
Great.
Also, he just says he pays her a lot of attention. I think Hack Fraud Media actually pointed this out, where Jedi texts, he starts paying a lot of attention to her, just kind of cuz.
I think he wants everyone to go away from him. That's the idea. He wants to be left alone.
Yeah. But this is not indicative of him not liking Rey. And like I said, in episode 9, which remember, he's including in this analysis ahead of time, Luke admits to liking Rey. And actually already knowing who Rey is.
Which is so beyond stupid.
He admits, I didn't want to train you because you're Palpatine, or because you're a Palpatine. Leia knew it too. But he did it anyway. I wonder why. Maybe it's because he liked her.
Well, JJ makes the most Mary Sue faults, adds the most to the Mary Sue problems. Ryan, not so much, though he doesn't actively go and fix anything. He also doesn't contribute very much either. So I'm fine with, Luke not in this film, not treating her like a Mary Sue. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like Ryan was that invested in that kind of storytelling. He wanted to do his own thing, completely different from everybody else.
It's a very minor point. I'm not thinking, wow, this guy doesn't like this character, therefore she's not a Mary Sue. It's like, I guess. Everything else seems to indicate she is, but okay. Luke not warming up to her instantly. Fine.
And these problems are of being a Mary Sue are not necessarily binary, They are a continuum. So she's lower on the Mary Sue continuum during this film than the other two.
Right.
That's because the rest of the films, because The Last Jedi is kind of a mess that's focused on everything, it seems like, other than Rey.
Here is Tyler Preston, Disney Star Wars Defender. Logic, what is that? Well, that's what the writers of the movie should have used a lot more of. And I guess then the Defenders would have actually used it as well. Anyway.
How Rey follows Luke around in the beginning portion of this movie. It's kinda a childish thing to do when you think about it. She needs Luke and he tells her to screw off, so she's just gonna try and follow him around until he gets fed up and begins to train her. It shows how desperately Rey needs...
Yeah, and then he does.
It's very much, oh, wouldn't you love to be trained by Luke Skywalker? But let's kind of put a twist on it, like Luke Skywalker's depressed, lazy hermit.
There's lots of stories of the reluctant master taking a new student or pupil. I think the original Kung Fu was like that. David Carradine, a young David, not him, but obviously another actor, a little boy, stands outside the temple waiting and waiting to prove his worth. What does it take?
Thundercats also does this.
Yeah, what does it take? It takes a message from Leia, the original message from Leia from R2-D2, for him to come around.
Thundercats is also a good
Sorry, what's that?
Thundercats is also a good example. The Thundercats, the new series, where Kitara actually has to prove that she is patient enough to wait outside of the Hall of the Mages for days, and that actually character development where she goes for Tigra because he left a bit of food for her so that she didn't starve while she was waiting.
Right. So I see nothing wrong with the stereotype of the reluctant teacher. And is that a form of non-Mary Sue-ness? Well, that's normal. Okay, that's a good thing. We need those elements in stories. So it's not the challenge is not yep, boom, got it, boom, got it, boom, got it. So is that a good thing? Yes, but it's also a very normal thing.
Force Awakens, she's gotten over her parents never returning to Jakku, but she is still searching for that external validation.
Here we go again. So it's not external validation is this need this guy invented, and then because Luke is now a new father figure, I guess. Therefore, she needs to feel validated from Luke for some reason. I don't know why. When her job is just to get him on board and to ask him a few questions about herself, and he can't answer them.
I think she just needed a teacher. She knew that she was lost, needed help finding her place, and looking for him to do that. I don't think she was looking for any kind of validation from him. It was purely utilitarian, a utility situation.
Here's Jake the Surgeon. Emus have arms instead of wings, therefore they can't be birds. This clown's logic. I don't know. I see what he's saying, but we're talking about The Last Jedi, which is a big mess of contrived events that just sort of mishmash into each other because it's a twist. Oh, we weren't expecting it. It's like, yay.
It's a twist.
Plenish Berserker. Here's $2 for Dunn bringing up Thundercats. Yeah, that's a rather obscure reference there, especially the new Thundercats.
Yeah, I like the new Thundercats better than the old one. I think the old one just isn't very good.
We're talking like the 80s Thundercats, right?
Yeah, the 80s Thundercats.
Okay.
And the new Thundercats Go, just looks like Teen Titans Go and every other horrifying, terrible thing that has come out of Cartoon Network of late.
All right.
She simply just shifted her focus from her parents to, hopefully, Luke.
How do you know this? I don't get... Where's her need for validation from Luke? I don't get it. Where is it?
I guess she's making a very big inference saying, I need someone to show me my place in all this, but that's not external validation. That's just asking, I don't have a point. That's just saying, I don't have a point. Where do I go?
Yeah, I really want to know if this is a character flaw. I don't see the problem. Who is she hurting? Not hurting Luke. Luke doesn't give a shit. See, a character flaw has to affect another character. If there's no one to interact with, it doesn't matter what your flaws are. There's nothing to have conflict with other people. There's no need to change your character there's no need to change.
The main character of the series needs this character to get him to save the day in the end, which is totally not what a Mary Sue does.
All she needs to do is convince him to come with him, and she could have whatever conversation she likes about her own personal life, because the story is not
Just replace Rey with Wesley Crusher in your mind and see if it's any good.
Oh.
Pretty much the same It's not very. Then you're just deluding yourself. West Ray Crusher.
I like 80s Thundercats isn't very good. I'm gonna need a $1 of that back there, Smut.
It's corny, and Mum-Ra is very fun, but like the 2011 Thundercats is better.
Oh. It's been a while since I watched
Anime
Thundercats. So, yeah, I used to like it too.
He really needs that external validation from Luke, and he's not giving it to her. This is really
For what? What validation? For what? Luke, am I good in the Force? Like, am I good with the lightsaber? She never asked that. What external validation?
In what sense? What validation as what? As a Jedi? As a person?
Yeah, weird.
What do you need a parent figure for when it comes to validating your existence if they're not your parent figure? Actually, like, you know what I mean? Like the distinction between her desire to meet her parents and the desire for a mentor character to teach her something. So just like a student, she wants to be a student, I guess.
Yeah, external validation to me means I've done something. Is it any good? Did I do well? Do you think what I did deserves praise? It's already accomplishing something, not I need something from you, which is information or knowledge or whatever. I think I don't know. I could argue he's projecting something in his life, but projection is a very big topic with fanboys who just see things that aren't there anyway. And they're just projecting what they think or they're inducting what should be there anyway. And I sit there like, yeah, maybe that happened. I just don't see it.
Apps, yeah.
really frustrating for Rey because she's not here to just follow Luke around. Rey genuinely needs help and Luke isn't giving it to her. We especially see this when they enter the Force tree. Now, a completely random side note, but did this part remind anyone of Alien and Aliens?
No.
What? What? Okay.
Never seen Alien or Aliens.
Did this remind everybody of... Did this remind you of Lord of the Rings?
When I first saw this, the music sounded identical, but maybe it's just me.
Stay on topic.
Enter the tree, Rey talks about how she's seen this place in her dreams.
You've seen this place. You've seen this island.
What is that? Is that the
This
script?
is actually a really neat continuation of the interrogation scene in The Force Awakens.
What?
Kylo says that he sees an ocean and an island in her head, and here she says she's seen this tree. This kind of implies that it's the will of the Force that...
An ocean and an island is not a tree, buddy. I don't know what you're getting at here.
It's the will of the Force.
Water. Ocean.
Okay, ocean and an island. Okay.
I'm gonna go swimming in the sand.
Okay.
Rey becomes a Jedi. She was destined for this her whole life, and why else would Rey be having...
No, she wasn't.
To be a dyad.
No, I think she was. That makes her a Mary Sue. There you go.
Yay.
Is there a prophecy? Because he's saying there's a prophecy. There's a destiny. And she's like, oh, really? Well, that's a Mary Sue component. I'm like, okay. I don't remember one.
Just in terms of like... I guess just in terms
destiny.
I don't know. I guess just in terms of she's been prophesying it in dreams that was barely set up, that just kind of came out of nowhere in The Force Awakens.
It's all her, dude. She came up with her own prophecy.
I had a dream. It was a prophecy. It's my destiny to become a something I never heard of before. Like, what?
That's what it is. That's literally what it is. I dreamed of a myth. The myth became true, and I found it, and I had to save it. I'm special.
It's basically that scene in Les Mis. I dreamed a dream that love would never die, or that sort of thing.
Oh dear.
Is it? I hope not.
Oh, that is an actual scene. Well, I dreamed a dream. That's definitely there.
What is it, a David Lynch movie?
No.
I dreamed a dream.
No, it's a book. No, it's a book.
With coffee and donuts.
That's a several...
Isn't that right, Gordon?
That's a several...
Isn't that right? I can't hear you.
Giant... Yeah, it's a long, long book. that's been adapted into musicals and movies over the course of, what, 70, 80 years?
Yeah, the quest for Jean Valjean is like fantastic. Yeah.
All I can think about is Russell Crowe singing.
And I'm Javert.
2461.
I'm Javert from the hood. Grove Street.
I can only
Follows.
sing in 5 semitones. Punish Berserker. No, Gold. TLJ doesn't remind me of good movies. That's good. Yeah. Where does it remind you of Aliens? It's like, no. It really never did.
I drifted off and thought about Aliens. I was like, oh, that's a good movie.
It was a good movie. Wouldn't it be great if we could watch that movie? Wouldn't it be great if we actually had movies of Aliens caliber nowadays? But we don't.
Yeah, I know.
And life is terrible.
Every single iteration of good movies from the 70s and 80s have been reinvented into garbage. Yeah.
Yeah, Alien Predator, Alien versus Predator, Alien versus Predator Requiem,
Terminator.
Alien Covenant,
Oh, God. Yeah.
Prometheus.
All right, let's keep going.
Dreams about this specific island. Now, this part of the scene I really like, and it says a lot about Rey's character. Luke asks her who she is, and she responds by saying the Resistance Center. She's kind of deflecting his question here. When he asks why she is here, she again responds by saying the Resistance Center. Luke emphasizes that he wants to know why she is here, and not someone else. It takes time for Rey to answer this question because it isn't an easy question for her to answer. In The Force Awakens, she kept on telling people that she needs to get back to Jakku,
Because she has
but
no
never
character.
told anyone why. Whenever asked why, she would reject and answer by saying it's none of your business, and when Maz confronted her with how her parents were never coming back, she ran away scared. Rey never admitted to anyone that she needs that someone in her life that will be there for her unconditionally.
Why?
Oh my god.
When? How?
You are projecting, sir. Like a lot.
None of that is in there. It's all him just kind of like, oh, I think this is what's happening in the scene. You know?
Probably.
But he can't actually, he can't actually show it to us. He has to just say it.
She
It's just
probably...
like it's coming up with a whole Watsonian explanation for this for that whole stupid conversation between Rey and Luke that doesn't exist. Just go with a Doyle's reasoning. Rian Johnson can't write very good dialogue, and so he had to use a gimmick.
I can understand coming from a parental sort of psychological perspective, saying, okay, she doesn't have a family, she doesn't have a father figure, she's 20 whatever years old. But if she's been living on her own for all this time, I think she's been doing okay. I think she's good. And people she's pretty well adapted despite having no one in her life to talk to. She's pretty okay, yeah, people, yeah, cool, whatever. Hug an old woman, that's cool, yeah. She's pretty, nice. If you were alone for, I don't know, your life, from 10 years on until 20 or 25, whatever the age range of Rey is, and you're, living by yourself and suddenly people are into your life, you're like, okay. Something happened between those 10 years where she just sort of got stoic and didn't care.
Does she have any other personality traits that could drive her in any direction to have her own desires? She needs the main character of the series to tell her what to do.
Yeah.
I mean, train her to be a Jedi or something makes sense, but then he doesn't make any sense when he says no, the Jedi are bad. I don't care if my friends and family die.
Life is meaningless. The Jedi are bad. The Sith are also bad. There's nothing I can do. It's like, wow, thanks, Luke. There's no one can help this girl.
And then she kicks his ass. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
It's just, life is meaningless. Everything's solipsistic. And then we go to Kylo. Life is nihilistic. Destroy everything. Kill it. You're like, oh. What a wonderful tale of nothing and death.
Pretty much.
So when she answers Luke's question, it says a lot about her.
And I'm afraid.
When she answers someone's question, would you like fries with that? It answers a lot about her.
No, she doesn't have a personality. She's barely even a person.
Well, I mean, I agree with you for the most part, but it's a little hyperbolic to say she has no personality. And but she really just does have the bare minimum to be a walking, functioning person.
What is she like?
She's not hyper complex. See, I couldn't answer those questions. All I know is that she's able to, get up and follow directions and kind of, emote slightly.
What does she want to do with her life at all? Like, what is she just wants to meet her family, but then that gets dropped in The Last Jedi, right?
Well, here's a great quote I learned from Red Letter Media. One of the first videos I saw of Red Letter Media, where he describes, give me the character description of these characters from the original series without describing how they look or their job. And the first one was Han Solo. Like, how would you describe Han Solo?
Usually the people came up with a separate description of Han Solo.
Like, he's cocky, he's swarmy, he's kind of a ladies' man. Like, he's kind of like, you get a feeling for him just by watching him behave and talk. And then they did the same thing with Amidala from the prequels, and they couldn't quite do it. They couldn't. Same with Anakin, same with Qui-Gon. It was like stoic. They had no idea what to say. With Rey, what do you say about Rey?
Yeah, basically, she is nice.
She's
naive.
She's kind to everyone.
She's altruistic. We're in a situation that doesn't make sense for her to be altruistic.
Yeah, she should be completely, jagged and a loner and really against other people because she hasn't been around people for a while. She lives a very harsh life. Everything's out to get her.
She should be Mad Max.
Yes.
She should be a character out of a Mad Max movie. Same setup. She's in the middle of a desert. Yeah,
She'd be really tough and really, beaten down. And no, she does her hair really neatly and cleans her bed, I guess. I don't know what the hell she does. It's
but
weird.
She smells, though.
She speaks with a very refined British accent.
Yeah, where does that come from?
Where?
Hello, I'm a desert urchin girl. How do you do?
I'm selling matchsticks.
Reminds me of Equilibrium. Can't remember the actor's name, but played Christian Bale's son. Mm-hmm. It's the only one in the movie that has a British accent. No one else, including his father.
No, doesn't the leader have a British accent? Tread carefully, Sean Pertwee.
Oh, I guess a little bit, but no one in his direct life has a British accent.
Yeah, it's weird that his son does. I don't know where that comes from. I guess they all of a sudden started teaching received pronunciation at some point.
Yeah.
The real problem with Equilibrium is that every time that Taye Diggs or whatever his name is on screen, he's always like hamming it up and acting smug, and you're like, wait a minute, you're not supposed to have any emotions. Why are you so smug about this?
No.
You're supposed to be super neutral for it. And then that in and of itself is kind of a weird decision in a film, which is all about emoting.
Yeah.
Here's Punished Berserk. So go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's much more interesting film to discuss than this one.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. It's a strange Matrix ripoff, but yeah, it's got a lot of character. Punished Berserker. Rey, no personality, no motivation, no titties. She's literally worthless. Oh, come on. She's super useful to have in any scenario you could ever think of. She'll be there to solve it. So it's a good friend to have.
She's also very useful as how not to write a character. Period.
Well, that's kind of what we're getting at here. Yeah.
I don't know what it is, what to do with it, and I need help.
She says something inside her has always been there, and she's afraid and that she needs help.
And
There's
it's
something to note.
established.
Mary Sue's are
Okay, if you need help, that there's something you're not sure of, that's not a need for external validation. That means I need a doctor. I need someone to figure out what's going on in my head or my body. I need scientists. I need someone to research me. Not, I need to tell someone I have something inside of me so I can talk about it. It's like, no.
I have some vague notion of something.
If she told us she needed someone to lean on, I need a friend, I need to know that what I'm doing is good or true or the right thing to do, that would be maybe some external validation, but it have to be very specific.
Another problem is kind of like, when was this ever established that she was afraid of it? This line comes out of a crack nowhere.
Yeah, she's scared of the vision of because who wouldn't be scared of a force vision of like tumbling around in a walking dream? Like, that's pretty terrifying. So that I get, but this is like, oh, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. It's like, okay.
Yeah, in The Force Awakens, everything we saw was she was excited by new abilities and skills.
She was amazed. She's like, oh my God, how'd I do this? Here's Alex Halo. Even flat is justice weebs don't like her. Oh, wow. That's, what part of the fandom is that? I don't know if that's the actual Star Wars fandom, but okay.
And that's the weebs who don't like big titties.
Oh, okay.
I guess.
Jake the Surgeon. The thing inside her is Kylo's emo child.
Well, they did have finger sex, just like Vulcans, so...
it's possible because, Force dyad, therefore non-virginal birth, maybe? I don't know. It's possible. Anything's possible with the dyad, so I wouldn't throw that away.
Well, we already had a virgin birth in Star Wars.
There you go, yeah. But I don't think his mom was a dyad, so probably not.
Oh, she just had Force. She just had Force just artificially conceived a son, a la Jesus.
It's just a thing, The Force just does this every once in a while. It's like
There's reason.
Force baby, Force dyad. The Force just does stuff, you don't know.
It's fine, Mr. Lucas, but it's also just like you're copying the hero's journey too closely there. You don't need to have an actual virgin birth just because it's in the hero's journey.
Yeah, that was not a literal interpretation. It wasn't supposed to be literal.
are never afraid and they never need help. So how could Rey be one if she just said that she's afraid and she needs help? Anyway, Luke tells her she needs a teacher and that the Jedi must.
Once again, Mary Sue's can be scared. Okay, their emotions are whatever they want them to be. There are
also, it's just like... Sorry, go for it.
There are plenty of sub-genre or subcategories of Mary Sue where they're not as strong or they have emotions here and there, and that's totally normal.
And as we mentioned before...
It is supposed to, like, they'll give them, like... Go for it, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, I think Hack Fraud Media actually brought up in his section, it is Mary Sue section, basically said they'll usually give the Mary Sue a flaw, quote unquote, like clumsiness, but it never comes into the plot. Just to kind of make it seem like she's not so much of a Mary Sue, but it's really a facade.
End. Luke shares
and ultimately Rey's fear never comes into the plot. It doesn't affect things. She's pretty much brave and courageous the whole way through.
Yeah, it's never a hurdle she has to overcome. It never stops her from doing something. And in fact, she does everything herself. Even Luke gets angry at her when she just goes to the dark side or the dark butthole or whatever. And he's like, "What? You just went straight there?" It's like, oh, as if that's a horrible thing because Luke wasn't doing dick all for her. So it's like, Luke, you're not helping her. She's being called by the dark side to get answers. She gets answers. They're not very nice, but she still gets what she wants.
I think the word you're referring to is the Hellmouth, where the movie goes all David Lynch.
Yeah, the David Lynch scene. I'm Ryan
Well,
Johnson. I like David Lynch. Let's do that with the dark side. It's like, what? Why?
Called Patrick. Don't you just love him?
Yeah.
Full scene with R2, he agrees to teach Rey 3 lessons that represent why the Jedi must end. Unfortunately, we only get to see 2 because the third scene is a deleted scene, and that's really unfortunate because the third lesson actually says a lot about Rey, but since it's a deleted scene, I'll address it in the external materials portion of this video. But anyway, before we get to see the first lesson, we see Rey and Kylo's first Force bond, and I love this scene. Nothing much happens here because neither of the characters know what the hell is going on. The only thing that is really established is that both characters aren't doing this and neither is Luke. Also, the two can't
Wait, a bit back, but didn't he just say he liked this because it was confusing?
Let's rewind.
I think he did, but yeah.
here because neither of the characters know what the hell is going on. The only thing that is really established is that both characters aren't doing this and neither is Luke. Also, the two can't harm each other. From The Rise of Skywalker, we know that this is just a result of their dyad and their bond is beginning.
Okay, wait, slow down. So,
It's not a result of their dyad, though. Snoke is bridging their minds together.
right,
He says so.
exactly. So wait, he's
that's
retconning. He's retconning Episode 8 with Episode 9 when he doesn't have to. Okay.
It's more convenient for him. It's more convenient for his non-Mary Sue argument.
Oh. Everything's a dyad. Everything can be explained because dyad. Okay. Even when the narrative is telling us it's not a dyad. That's great.
Dyad
Stronger.
applied directly to the
Now,
plot
I
hole.
genuinely don't know if people think her having this bond is her being a Mary Sue or not, but I don't know how this could be an example of that when it's something that is completely out of her control. One cool thing about this scene is Kylo mentions to Rey that she can't be doing this because the effort would kill her. This is a nice tie-in to the end of the movie when Luke projects himself. It also shows how much tunnel vision Kylo had at the end of this movie because he is aware of this Force ability but was too angry to notice it. Anyway, their first encounter gets cut short and Luke wants to begin Rey's first lesson. When they get to the little cliff, there is something interesting about the way Rey talks to Luke here.
We need you to bring the Jedi back because Kylo Ren is strong with the dark side of the Force. Without the Jedi, we won't stand a chance against him.
She says, we need you to bring the Jedi Order back because Kylo Ren is strong with the dark side of the Force. Without the Jedi, we don't stand a chance against him. Now, it's not what's said here, but how it is said. The way Rey says this sounds very rehearsed, like someone told her to tell Luke this information.
Wow, she must be a wonderful actress.
Also,
But she's
that's
the
your
best
headcanon. That is your headcanon, dude. Please don't conflate. It's annoying.
Well, let's see if there's a better explanation. Like maybe her acting.
Yes.
She said the line
Daisy
she was supposed to
Ridley.
say. Wow, it's great. Yeah.
I feel weird, kind of like Daisy Ridley's acting is just all over the place throughout these movies. Sometimes it's like decent, a lot of the time kind of bad.
I find her to be boring.
She is very personalityless in a lot of ways.
Apparently, she's a pretty decent actress. I think she was in Ophelia. I think she was the main lead of that film. Apparently, did very well in terms of an actress. She had other minor roles. I know in the latest was it Brenna Poirot film? She was in there for a bit. Fine, she's fine. You know, she's a fine actress. There's no character for her to work with here. Anyway,
Yeah.
Jake the Surgeon, thank you, sir. Lizards always have legs and are never fully marine. This what? This troglodyte's logic. Okay, well, those are your words, sir, not mine. He is reaching. We get it, but you know we want to know where he's going with this because we've already retconned Episode 8 with Episode 9's dyad again, and now he's talking about the way she says the lines about what she wants Luke to do, to bring the Jedi back, which we've already established he doesn't want to do.
Is he going with the notion that this whole trilogy was somewhat planned?
No, I don't think he's going to be that. No, I don't think he's ever going to get that far. No.
Because that the second if he says that I'm just going to be like your intelligence, you have been fired from breathing, buddy.
No more books for you. You're done.
Yeah.
No more movies.
Fired.
No more movies for you. Here's some books. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, you are fired from breathing. You are no longer
Okay,
allowed
done.
to live.
That's a bit. Okay, too much there. Anyway, let's keep going.
Kindly leave lying.
Now, some people have pointed to this as bad acting on the part of Daisy Ridley, but I don't believe that. I think the delivery of this line was intentional because Rey doesn't really believe what she is saying. Now, I'm not saying she believes the opposite, but this was just something she was told, not something she genuinely believes.
Who told her? Who told her this? Please tell us. I think a little lizard told her. I think she heard it in a dream. That's not an argument.
Your head. What is?
This is all headcanon.
This is just. Her headcanon makes less sense than the movie.
What does this have anything to do with being a Mary Sue though? Like what the way she delivers this line, it's as if she doesn't really believe what she's saying. It's like, and that what does that have to do with being a Mary Sue?
Oh, it's because he's trying to make her seem more complex, since the lack of complexity is one of the complaints of a Mary Sue.
Really?
Yeah, that's the only reason I can think of.
Mary Sues have like billions of things going for them. How is that not complex? They're like a genius at this. They can solve chess moves in four. Like I don't think that's complexity is not a derivative trait. It's kind of part and parcel.
Well, I that's superficial stuff relatively. I'm talking about like personality traits and things like that, motivations. He's trying to build a deeper character for Rey than is really in the movie.
Okay.
Like, for example, nobody could ever say that Tywin Lannister is a surface level simple character because he has multiple emotions, he has multiple character traits. He has a lot of personality flaws, but he's extremely competent. Rey doesn't have any personality traits. She just kind of is what the plot needs her to be and just kind of is moved around by the plot in order for cool things to happen.
Doesn't even know what a Jedi really is. This is why Luke questions her and asks, "What do you know about the Jedi?" She responds with the funny line, "It's a power that Jedi have that allows them to control people."
Yeah. He asked, "What do you know about the Force?" Not, "What do you know about the Jedi?" Okay, never mind.
Also, that just makes the whole thing of The Force Awakens so dumb. Like, it's like, oh, it's she's not wrong. Well, technically, she is not wrong. That's the annoying thing. She is not wrong. To do is that. All the Force does, really, or at least like however much it's been established.
Well, as she would know, because she doesn't know a darn thing. So,
and make things float. While this scene was played off for some laughs, I do believe this says a lot about Rey. Rey doesn't understand the Force. To her, it's just something that was always there, and she was able to tap into it in the previous movie. This establishes another one of her flaws.
How is it a flaw, a lack of knowledge, when she has the capacity of a master? It's like she skipped the philosophy or physics textbook on how to become an engineer, and she's an engineer. How is that a flaw? That's amazing. I skipped 10 grades. I'm a PhD in engineering. How is that a flaw? I don't understand the basics of my amazing strength. How is that a flaw? It just makes no sense.
It's basically if Randall Thor at the end of book 1 of the Wheel of Time
Randall
Thor is able to do what he does at the end of the middle of Towers of Midnight.
Yeah, well, that's a Mary Sue of Wheel of Time. We know, yeah.
Well, he takes a long long time to get to that point. He takes 11 books to get to the point where he is destroying armies.
Everyone loves him. Yeah, I know. Okay.
Oh, nobody actually likes him. There's a lot of people who hate him.
He's got a few lovers there. Yeah.
Well, he has a lot of girls who thinks he's hot. That is true.
Yeah. I would put him in the category. He's not a perfect. He's on the scale of Mary Sue-ness, let's just say.
Yeah, he wins he wins in kind of the same way in a lot of the books, unfortunately.
Right. Okay. Keep going.
That she's naive. In The Rise of Skywalker, she's more matured, but in The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, she's always making assumptions that are completely wrong. She trusts that Finn was with the Resistance, she's assuming she knows
And she was right.
what the Force is. She sticks her
And she's pretty much correct based on her limited knowledge.
hand out when Luke tells her to reach out. She's easily manipulated by a dude because he's hot. She assumes Kylo...
What? How does he... What? She's embarrassed by looking at him. She's not manipulated by him. It's like, hey, baby, want to come to the dark side? Okay. Oh, boy.
Hey, baby.
Dark side's cool, man. Look at my abs. Okay.
It's just she's not trying to manipulate her. He's sharing his worldview. He's actually being relatively genuine.
He's just as lost as she is, yeah.
And now I'm lost in the woods.
Turn back to the light side just because she would go to him. And these are just a few examples, but to say that Rey is not naive in these first two movies is very hard to argue. And even though it's not a big flaw, being naive is still a flaw. There is no way the original Mary Sue from Star Trek would be naive about anything. If Rey was really a Mary Sue...
Okay, so the original Mary Sue, etc. Okay, yeah. The idea behind that was it was a parody of the stories that the lady was getting for that magazine, and then it's evolved beyond that to incorporate
Or
other
that she was
characters.
inundating.
Right. It's
She was pissed. She was clearly pissed off that this was passing for some kind of story,
right.
in fan fiction story.
So being naive. I mean, I can go look up the Mary Sue trope list again, and I can just search for naive or being unsure or whatever. And that could be an element of dialogue. That could be an element of plot devices or any sort of thing you don't like. They're not there. There's the God Sue who knows everything apparently, but there's like Sues who don't know everything. And if you ask them a question, they can't answer it. Like what was that episode of Buffy? It was a Superstar or something like that, where this guy had this magical he made with a demon or whatever, some magic spell. Where they parodied the Mary Sue trope. And he was fighting. He was better than Buffy. He was better than everyone. And he got all these girls. Everyone loved him. He was on all these talk shows. And he didn't know everything. He didn't have absolute knowledge. He was smart, but he wasn't like, I could see the future.
And then we find it. It's probably going to be something along the lines of, okay, personality. The typical Mary Sue doesn't have one. So what little personality it has, the Mary Sue has, isn't as important as how other characters react to it. No matter how shy or socially awkward the Mary Sue is supposed to be, other characters will be inexplicably drawn to her. I would say like fits Luke. He's inextricably drawn to her.
Even if he doesn't like her or, show positive affection, he is drawn to her.
Yeah. Oh, found it. She may be flawed, but all these are informed flaws. This usually happens when the author is actively avoiding these common traits, but doesn't know how to do this realistically. This usually leads to quote-unquote flaws that never actually hinder the character or make her look bad. If it's something to make something that makes her darker and edgier, like substance abuse or nymphomania, we never see any drawbacks from it. If she's a klutz, that just makes her a cute, clumsy girl.
Right.
Sometimes it's a flaw that has no relevance to the story, like being a lethal chef in a story where she never has to cook. Sometimes she will complain about her awesome powers, or stunning beauty, or special place in the world, for no reason other than the author realizing that the character can't look too perfect, except she usually forgets to write in the he or she. We gotta be inclusive and progressive here. This is a good, solid, progressive podcast.
Yes.
As doesn't he or she usually forgets to write into the circumstances that would usually cause a character to react this way.
Yes. So again, these are common examples. There's lots of, we can go through the lists of males and females or this or that. I think not everyone liked Wesley Crusher, yet he's a Mary Sue. So there's a scale, there's a range. It's not 1-to-1, right? So personality is part of that.
Yeah, and even though naivety isn't mentioned, it fits in with these other flaws, like being the darkier, edgier klutz, that kind of thing. Naivety fits in. It's an inoffensive flaw, oh, she is just too nice. She's too considerate. She's too forgiving.
Right. And in that scene, what happens? It's for jokes. It's all for a laugh.
And like, oh, she's so naive. It's so cute.
And arguably, that's the funniest part of the movie. So.
Yeah, it's the only funny part in the movie. What else do we have to work with? Your mama joke?
Yes.
Oh, there's also the steam cleaner. The iron that comes down that's supposed to look like a ship landing.
Yeah, I guess that was kind of clever. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it fits in with Spaceballs. A lot of Ryan's jokes fit in with Spaceballs, not Star Wars.
That's a good film to make fun with, but you don't parody a parody, so it's kind of silly. Whoever would have caught that reference.
That's giving.
All right, let's just keep going. We're only at 11 minutes.
Dude, she would have a understanding of what the Force is, but she clearly doesn't. Now, during the first lesson, we get a wonderful little scene that really shows what the Force is. People brush the scene off as Rey not learning anything, but they completely misunderstood this scene and what the Force is. The Force is not a power you have. It's an energy field that surrounds all living things. This is what is reiterated in both The Empire Strikes Back and The Last Jedi. One's strength in the Force comes from how well someone can tap into this energy field. It's not like something you level up like in a video game. Some people are just...
Then why is there training?
Why?
What do? They just keep trying to tap in for decades?
Also, you go at the beginning of the day, you stand in line, wait to see if there's an opening.
Yeah, is Rey like a super meditator or something? Like she's so in tune, like she's just so chilled out that just everything is just like I can tap into it, no problem. Are her taps like big pipes? Like what's going on here?
Which is weird because she's on a desert planet. She should be a pragmatist.
Where's the life in a desert planet that she can tap into? In the sand?
I don't know.
Not much. There's not much life in sand.
It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere after all.
Hello, I'm back. Did I miss anything?
Nothing of substance. But we missed you, boys. That's what really happened.
Because you voice are the sexiest of radios.
Thank you.
There you go.
I mean, there's not much competition, aside from the radio demon, I suppose. But yes, thank you.
The radio demon.
Yeah, unadulterated boredom.
12 minutes in. Let's keep going.
Naturally better connecting to this energy field than others, and this is the biggest difference between Luke and Rey. Rey, like Anakin, is naturally better at connecting to the Force than Luke was.
Why?
And this is because both the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy are designed to be that way. And this is because Luke's journey has everything to do with his strength in the Force, and Rey's journey has very little to do with her strength in the Force.
Wait, what?
No. Oh,
why?
That is bull crap. That's a lie.
Why?
No, she kills Palpatine because she is all the Jedi.
I'm not even gonna. I'm not gonna let that. I'm not even gonna argue it because it's just an assertion.
Yeah. There's
And
no
didn't-
evidence to back up what he's saying. He's just
What? Yeah.
Didn't Gold say that Rey's journey starts specifically because she's a dyad with Kylo, a dyad in the Force?
I don't know.
He retconned episode 8, so I don't know how that affects the rest of her journey. If it's just dyad explains everything. It's just
she's a dyad in the Force, and she's Emperor Palpatine's daughter / granddaughter, whatever. And
Stop applying
So-
logic. J.J.
so-
Abrams be random, incoherent, juvenile crap happens, things explode, and people empty their wallets to see it.
wasn't one of Luke's flaws was he wasn't patient enough to complete his training, and he ended up having to get saved by the friends he was supposed to save.
I don't know.
You don't remember? Okay.
No, I don't know. I just don't know anymore.
Yeah.
My brain has been washed.
Well, this wasn't as bad as last night. Just like, okay. All right.
You were at it for 4 hours.
5 hours.
5 hours.
Yeah.
5 hours? Oh,
It listed 4 hours, but when you look at the time thing, it's 5 hours long.
Anyway.
Let's examine this further. If you watched my video about Rey's introduction scene, you know I talked about John Truby's 4 narrative questions that are essential for a character.
Oh boy.
What is the character's want?
I just love these. They reference this dude. They don't understand a goddamn word in this thing, and they try to spin it into some other word. It just what are you doing? It's like you get this smart man to make this amazing book,
Yeah.
and it is ruined.
And then you
It's
misinterpret
like,
it.
They completely. It's like what? Like how much more clear does this guy have to be?
Want, need, lie, and ghost. For this video, I will just talk about a character's want and need. The want
Oh my
is
god,
the goal the character.
this is literally Mauler's April Fool's video. The character's wants and needs.
Yeah, he was
I
making.
mean, it's
fun
important.
of-
It's important to get the wants and needs, but we don't have those for Rey. That's the point.
yeah. She's pushed around by the plot and is like, "Oh, can you kind of help me, show me the way to go?"
yeah, this is the just right
She's-
video. So
She just says that, like, she wants to find her parents, but it really doesn't, like, affect the plot, really. It's just kind of, it's brought up at convenient moments, like, oh, your parents are nobodies, after there's been no establishment of she thinks their parents are somebody. All that she's established as thinking is that they will come back.
right. So if you have a want, you should translate that directly into a plot. If it's not a plot, it's either a subplot or it's just, hey, I want candy, and that's that. It never happens. She never gets candy. She never desires it. She never has a problem getting or not getting it. That's just filler. It's just stupid. It's wasting everyone's time, which is exactly what happens in episode 7. She wants to wait for her parents. It doesn't happen. She runs into the forest, and then the rest of the story picks up, and she just bounces around. And then the movie's over.
I would like to draw your attention to the April Fool's video that Mauler put out, The Rise of Skywalker, an exploration of identity. I'm just going to play a little clip a second in case people don't know. I hope this comes up okay. You just need the audio, but I want to compare to what Gold is going to say.
Distinct character journeys, and each of them answer the claims
Yeah, skip.
part 1, wants versus needs. The first question of identity is what a character wants versus what they need, and how do these wants and needs conflict with each other in the character.
Yeah, let's just keep that in mind for this bit.
I actually kind of had a funny experience. We actually recommended Mahler to a lady in my Discord, and she actually watched this and she thought that it was serious, not an April Fool's joke.
Oh.
She said, like, Mahler's kind of hit or miss for me. I kind of didn't, like, get it. And then when she was like, wait, what? I told her it's an April Fool's video. He hates this movie. He's making fun of people who like The Last Jedi.
is trying to achieve, and the need is what the character needs to learn about themselves in order to achieve their want.
No. That's wrong. I'm sorry. You could, if you associate your want with your need, great writing. But that's not, you don't have to do that. I mean, this Truby is he's trying to give you the dumb way of writing. So everything makes sense and it's easy to interpret and easy to write. But you don't have to do it this way.
I'm just wondering what the need is for this. Let's say that this. Sorry, go on.
You could always just watch Brandon Sanderson's lectures. You will get probably just as good information, if not better information, than just reading the book. Or you can compare and contrast the two.
Yeah, and when you understand the term need, at least from Truby, he's referring to the flaw. So the flaw has a need. You need to fix this thing in order for her to accomplish her goal, which is therefore the plot, which is also the want, if it is in fact the want, which is also the motivation of the character to do whatever the hell they want to do. We don't get that in the episode 7. We get in episode 8, she has to go get Luke because someone else wants her to get Luke. She wants something else from Luke. Luke doesn't give it to her. She thinks she can get it from Kylo. She goes to try and get it from Kylo. She doesn't get it from Kylo. And then the movie's over.
Yeah. Speaking back to what you were saying about Truby, he's telling potential people how to construct a character. This isn't necessarily something that is for analysis. Is that correct?
It is a way of looking at a character if you want, but because we're using Rey, you can't because it isn't there. It's in this case, the plot want is from Leia telling her, here's a mission, go do it. She has other wants and other needs, or I think she has needs. I don't even know what they are. Well, she says, my need is X, and you're like, okay, and she never gets that accomplished. So yeah, you could use this for analysis, but there's nothing to analyze. It's like there's nothing there.
Yeah. Well, it seems like if you could identify how a story was constructed, you might understand it better. But if it wasn't constructed using this kind of method, if this story wasn't constructed using this style, then using this style to analyze the movie seems unproductive at best, if not outright inappropriate.
It's strange.
I'd say counterproductive.
Yeah,
I would say counterproductive.
It's like saying, here's the way to build a bridge. I'm looking at the way to build a bridge by looking at this broken bridge and saying, as you can see, here's this smashed column. And it's like, oh, fuck, that's not good. And now he's trying to explain, this smashed column is actually the proper way. It's like, no, it's a smashed column, sir. And anyway, let's just see how he describes her needs and wants and whatever.
Let's add these to Luke and Rey in their respective trilogies. Luke's want is to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like his father. That is his goal throughout the trilogy. His need is that he must have trust in himself and in the Force if he wants to become a Jedi.
I would not agree with that. I would say that is the climax discovery of A New Hope and A New Hope only.
The problem with Luke is he needs to learn to be patient and complete his training, not the fact that he needs to trust in the Force or whatever, this and that. Because he goes off in episode 5, and he gets his arm chopped off and he has to get saved by his friends. And then in episode 7, he completes his training. So he has to learn to calm down. He has to learn to trust in Yoda and whatever, to listen to his elders and not get his friends killed or whatever visions he's having. It's just like, listen, just calm down. You're not ready. You're jumping the gun. That's his flaw. He gets his friends hurt, or he gets hurt in the process. They have to go save Han in the next movie, etc., etc.
It's the Perseus flaw, where Perseus is way too impulsive.
So right.
Jumps into things.
Right, that is his flaw. What he wants is based off the plot. So he has to go do whatever, save the galaxy, stop the bad guys. I don't know exactly in this particular event. what he's trying to do, aside from train, but face his father, I guess.
He's trying to pull the X-wing out of the swamp because it's
this plot point. Yeah, so you can judge the wants based on plot point to plot point. I want to open this door. I have to get the key to open the next door. Those are plot point connecting. And then the end result has to do with the climax and what he's achieved as a result, whether whether his need has been accepted or rejected, and he has to fix his flaw or not. So all part of an arc. And it's a little more complicated than that, but Truby's trying to make it simple. And I don't think it's that simple with The Last Jedi, because it's just a mess to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
If you look at Hope and The Empire Strikes Back, Luke's struggles all stem from him not trusting in himself or in the Force. It's not until Return of the Jedi where he
I don't know. He's pretty trusting of his vision to go help his friends.
And he believes that he can do it.
Yeah,
he's seems as though arrogance is his main problem in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah,
I would disagree. I think that he wasn't sure he would be able to do it. He just couldn't stand back when he knew his friends were in trouble. He thought he could help, and he had enough confidence in himself to commit to that action. But I don't think he was. I didn't think he knew he would succeed. He just couldn't stand back and let things happen.
That's one way of putting it. It's the same. The result's the same. He couldn't do it. Whether he was confident or not, he just could not accomplish what he wanted to do. So he didn't have the skills as well as the mentality to do the thing he needed to do.
Yoda and he will not murder his father, and he will do whatever it takes to save him. Luke trusted in himself, and he accomplished his goal. Now, let's look at Rey.
That was a jump, but okay.
He didn't necessarily trust in himself. He trusted in there was a kernel of good inside of his dad. There's a difference.
Yeah, he proved to his father that I believe in my dad. I'm a Jedi, yada, yada. I will not fight him violently anymore. And that's when the dad decides to step up and say, nope, you're not going to kill my son. So, which would be interesting if that scene never happened with the Emperor. Vader would have said, I'm going to stop following you, my master. I'm going to join my son. And that would have been interesting. I'm like, whoa, that'd be weird. But because of his violence, Vader's like, I'm good at throwing things down shafts.
Now, depending on the movies you're looking at, Rey has different wants and needs. But overall, I'd say her main ones that are consistent throughout the trilogy is that her want is to find belonging.
Okay, she's...
She just wants to find her parents. She wants her parents to come back for some reason. She shouldn't... how long... It's 14 years, roughly, let's say, since her parents have left. Why is she still holding a candle? She should be jaded.
Right, and that's sort of the weird thing we see with Orange Lady in episode 7, where she says, hey, they're not coming back. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to cry now. Combined with that crazy Force vision she just had, which was enough to her to take off. So that scene we get. It's like, all right, she's scared. We totally understand. So let's say, for argument, yes, she wants to have a family. She wants to have a community to belong to. It's like, fine, we get it. Okay. What does that have to do with the plot?
She needs to shut up.
Yeah.
That's what she needs to do.
What does that have to do with the plot? Nothing. It's like she may have wanted a husband or a family or a house or all these other things. Nothing to do with the plot.
I like how nothing that she says or any of her character aspects have anything to do with the outcome other than she wants a family, so she becomes a Skywalker.
Where everyone's dead.
She says, I've never seen this much green in the whole galaxy. Well, wouldn't she go to a green place then? Shouldn't the movie end there? Her in a little house or something?
That's what she wants.
And that her need is that she's not defined by her parents or by her bloodline, but by who she is as a person.
Wait. What does that mean? Let's go back and try that again.
Throughout the trilogy is that her want is to find belonging, and that her need is that she's not defined by her parents or by her bloodline, but
what? How is that a need?
If she's not defined by her bloodline, then how does she have all Palpatine's powers?
What? I need to know I'm not defined by my blood. What? I don't even know. Is that even logical? I can't even connect those two ideas. I need to know I'm not defined by my family I don't know I even have. I just, what is he talking about?
Well, it's when
it's what they perceive go for it. Sorry.
I was just gonna say it's what happens when you need to have these movies make sense, even though they don't.
Okay, when he read John Truby, did he skip the part where he tries to describe the need is based off the flaw? Because he just had nothing. This has nothing to do with her flaw. Because remember he said the flaw was a need for external validation or whatever.
Yeah, technically not a flaw. That's just a state of being.
Well, he invented that. I'm just like, fine. If that's her flaw, then she needs to have someone externally validate her. And he's telling
Remember when she needed to get food, so she's doing scavenger stuff?
Yeah.
What other needs does she have after that? She, her entire thing is about meeting up with her family. That's the whole point, is that she wants to seek out her family. And I understand that JJ's idea was that probably in the second one she was supposed to meet her family and find out she was a Palpatine or something, if that's what his plan was, to bring it back. I doubt he had a plan. If you're going to go off and look for your family, that's your plot.
Yeah, but Last
Jedi changes that.
She wasn't basing her need in episodes 7 and 8 based off Palpatine. She has no idea who the hell Palpatine even is.
Exactly. But she has a need to wait for her family for some reason.
Right.
For an unknown reason.
Right. She's waiting she believes her parents are coming back for her, and then Orange Lady goes, nope, not gonna happen. And you're like, oh, okay. End of that plot
also
line.
could be ideas that Rey was being set up as Luke's daughter or Kenobi. For sure we know that Daisy Ridley said that they were toying around with they said it was probably Kenobi being her ancestor.
Yeah, she mentioned that last week or so, yeah, or something like that.
Whatever. She's Dexter Jettster's nephew.
Yeah.
It really pissed off Star Wars Theory. He said, I W fan fiction. I no longer W a continuation. He actually liked Rise of Skywalker, but it was mostly because I think that a part of that was it validated his fan theory that she was a Palpatine, and that explained why, based on the fact that she fights kind of like Ian McDermott did.
No, that was such
Phantom Menace.
Dumb explanation. That was so
Revenge
stupid.
of the Sith, they made.
She's doing a thrust maneuver, therefore she's well, come on. I didn't know tactical training in sword combat was genetic. Okay.
Overall, I'd say her ones that are consistent throughout the trilogy is that her want is to find belonging, and that her need is that she's not defined by her parents or by her bloodline.
Why is that a
she
need?
is as a person.
That's not a
what
need.
Do these wants and needs have to do with one's strength in the Force? Well, the key component of narrative drama is the character struggling to accomplish their want, and how they need to learn their need by the end of the story.
To find a place. What does that mean?
Go back and
she needs to find a literal place, a place to go, or a part of a group, or a place. Well, I don't even know what that means. A job or a place to sleep tomorrow night.
I want to hear this one more time.
Place where she can scarf food.
That's what I would want. That's what I want right now.
The key component of narrative drama is
the key component of narrative drama. You know what narrative drama, guys, is? It's when you care about the characters in your story. There's something you can identify with. You feel something. They like kids. I like kids. They like puppies. I like whatever the case may be. That's it. You care about what's going on with the characters. It could be a hook. It could be someone dies. It doesn't matter. Okay, that's all it is. You can use just a structure, this narrative structure or dramatic structure. You could use that old school Freytag's pyramid. I don't care. Whatever connects you to the characters. That's all it is.
Could even be something like what Brandon Sanderson does, where he shows a character at one point in their life, and then a few months later, they've gone from squad captain to slave.
Yeah, fortunes change. They accomplish a goal. They do something awesome. It doesn't matter. Anything that you go, oh, I like this character doing the thing, or saying the thing, or thinking a certain way. There's so many ways to identify with the character and care about the character. But he has the key component to narrative drama. Okay, do it.
Struggling to accomplish their want, and how they need to learn their need by the end of the story.
I would agree to a certain extent that a lot of it is
Struggling.
they're struggling
Yes.
to achieve something.
There has to be a conflict, but that's not what makes me care about a character. I could see a character on screen fighting lava while their hands get ripped off by the melting, but if I don't care about the character, I don't care about the scene. I'm like, who is this weirdo melting? Like, what is this?
I think that Brandon Sanderson actually put it best when he said that you can create a character who is engaging to the audience by playing with the barometers, by playing with 3 barometers of the character: how high their moral compass, how high their moral standard is, how high their competence is, and how high their proactivity is.
Interesting. It depends. I would say whether you're attracted to a character at all for whatever reason, and I have a list of things in my book I talk about. I'm not going to get into that. But it's how much you are identifying and liking that character. So when something happens to them, you're like, oh no. Or they do something cool, you're like, oh yeah. Like whatever it is.
Luke's want and need have a strong relationship with the Force. Luke's want is to become a Jedi, so in order for him to have a compelling character arc, we need to see Luke struggling to achieve his want. Thus, Luke needs
that's
to
not
struggle
exactly
to
what he
become a
wanted.
Jedi.
Well, this is episode 5. He just showed a scene from episode 4 where he's trying to stop the Death Star. So
he wanted to join the academy and be a pilot.
Right.
And then his need was that he had to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi. Because that was like... Yeah.
Get off Tatooine, go to wherever to join the rebels to fight because the Imperials killed his family and yada yada.
Yeah.
And then they have the plan to stop the Death Star, and he goes along with it. So his want is to stop the Death Star. That's the plot. It works together. He doesn't know how to do that specifically. And then he gets help from everyone, his wingman, from Han Solo, from the voice in his head from Ben.
Even though Luke has all power in the world, he's the only one holding himself back, which is
what?
No, that's not
He
true. He
have
was
raw
held back
power.
by his aunt and uncle, and then after that he was held back by a lack of ability and a lack of understanding and a lack of perspective. But yeah, sure, you can say that about anybody, that you're your own worst enemy.
Every hero who's not gone on his journey, yeah, you're right. They're not good enough.
He really wants this to be the case because it'll mirror what he says about Rey. That's what I'm guessing anyway.
Yeah.
why it appears weaker than Rey and Anakin. This is why in the span of 1 year, he's able to go from not even being able to lift an X-Wing to beating the Chosen One in a lightsaber fight. A good analogy for the Force would be a door, and yes, a door. And this analogy actually comes from Luke himself in a comic. Now, this is not me using external material to defend a movie, it's me using an analogy that I happened to hear from a Star Wars comic. The more open the door is, the stronger you are with the Force. Some people start with the door closed, making it harder for them to be as strong. Some people start with their door about halfway open, making them naturally stronger with the Force than others without training. Some people have an easier time opening their doors than others, and some people can open their doors all the way.
So Rey has like a gigantic stadium with no doors. It's just open air. She just flies into it.
Rey is the Colosseum.
There's like thousands of doors.
It's like, it's bread and circuses. So much bread and what flea-bitten circuses.
While some people only open it halfway. However, regardless of all this, anyone can open their door in some capacity.
I'm open your door,
People
baby.
like Anakin, Luke, and Rey start with their doors really wide open, but Anakin and Rey were faster at continuing to open their doors than Luke was.
And by fast, we mean like seconds.
Doors open, man.
Also, yeah, like if we're comparing Anakin does not do the things that Rey does in his movie.
Strangely
Next, we
enough,
see him.
yeah, his doors are closing as the movies go on. He gets weaker. young Anakin's amazing, and then he just gets weaker and weaker.
Regardless of whether the comic was Star Wars
Well,
or
I think
not,
like the plot just loves it. He's still using it to justify to a certain extent. Like, it kind of just seems as though like the plot loves young Anakin a lot, but he doesn't demonstrate like force powers until episode 2, other than like Master Reflex. It's more just like he's the DM's boyfriend.
Well, here's the Jake the Surgeon. I'm not using this comic as a defense to let me use it as a defense. Yeah, no, it's definitely just an analogy. So that's fine. I don't mind that, but he uses a lot of tertiary sources anyway.
This is why someone with such a minuscule amount of training can defeat someone who is labeled the Chosen One. Luke's journey is about him struggling to open the door.
So let me see if I get this straight. The analogy is some people are born with a door that's wide open like Rey, and everything just instantly downloads into her brain and she could do anything. Whereas every other character in this story, including Kylo, had to train to open the door, even though Kylo's also a dyad. So what is it? Is it a door analogy, or is it she's a dyad? Which one?
Or is it a floodgate analogy?
I don't know. It's just he's giving me two different explanations for the way Rey is. Oh, and the Uncle Unkar argument.
Door wider it started. Now let's look at Rey. Her want is about her finding belonging. In other words, she wants a family.
Right, okay.
Her struggling to find a family has nothing to do with her strength with the Force.
Sure.
We don't see Rey struggle that much with the Force because her struggle is all about her insecurity within herself.
With what? What?
She doesn't have to train because she has no need to train? Is that what you're saying?
What is this conflict? The conflict he's saying is that the need is that she needs to realize that she doesn't need her parents, which is like what? Okay, that's stupid. Number one, and then number two, the want is that she needs a belonging. So how does that play into either of those things? How does the story support that idea?
This is like, okay, because characters are flawed. I'm going to invent a flaw for Rey. She's insecure about not having a family. That's where her focus is. Therefore, she's amazing in the Force. I could have said any goddamn problem she might have had. She has a flaw with her fingernail. She's got this pain in her finger. Because she's focusing on that, she's not focusing on the flaws she might have had with forces, I guess.
What?
It's all you're saying is she's super powerful.
But she's not a Mary Sue, remember?
But she's not a Mary Sue because other people have their doors closed or whatever bullshit. It's okay.
I'm a Mary Sue now. Look at me.
So, avoiding gatekeeper joke, like avoiding gatehouse joke.
Dale Franks, hey sir, how you doing? This whole video boils down to who are you gonna believe, me or your lion eyes? Me or the guy with the brain? Like, okay, I don't know, my brain's kind of good. No, I'll listen to this guy. I just watched all the movies. I don't know anything.
I don't know anything either.
This is what we see during the first lesson. Rey is naturally good at tapping into the Force.
Naturally good at breaking rocks by meditating is... What are you talking about? Rey, I want you to do a layup. She breaks
just naturally good. She's just naturally good. This is why she's not a Mary Sue. Got it. No. What are we talking about again?
Rey, I want you to hit a base hit. I want you to get a single. She hits a home run. It's like, what?
She's just naturally good at being better and everything.
So it's genetics.
Okay. It was the will of the
The
Force.
will of the Force, okay.
She is a dyad.
She's good because she was born that way. Oh, can't you just accept it? It's like, no, we can't. That's the... Oh. Oh, boy. How did he stop? Like, oh. Where's the dyad argument? He just went into character needs and flaws and invented some. Like, okay. Any more arguments?
It's not convenient.
This is self-justification, the video.
It's like he's starting a new paragraph, inventing... Wait a second. I got to make that video again. I got to finish this. What's a good reason to figure that out? And he's inventing as he's going. Oh, I have that scene from the next part of the movie. Oh, yeah. What can I do?
She becomes so much stronger than Luke was. Luke even points out how much raw power she had, similar to Ben Solo.
I've seen this raw strength only once before. In Ben Solo. It didn't
So when he saw Yoda, he was like... Green little munchkin, he had no power. Rey, God.
Didn't see it. He didn't see it in Palpatine.
Yeah. Palpatine's nothing.
Anything with Anakin? No.
His power only, a few times. I mean, a little bit. Pretty often, actually.
Wasn't really scared of Palpatine. Yeah, he's just Palpatine. Whatever. Yeah, whatever. My dad, most evil guy in the world. No big deal. Rey, my God.
Yeah, and if any of this is really true, why is he not? If he really is scared, why is he not bringing up the fact that she's Palpatine's granddaughter?
Because
this would be the perfect time.
Because you assume a plan where there is none.
Well, I know. I'm just pointing that out.
I know. It's just like this whole trilogy is a giant mess of terrible ideas and botched execution.
Yay.
enough. It does now.
Speaking of which, her next scene is her second Force bond with Kylo. Just a quick thing, I love how she gets a little excited at touching the rain. It probably never rained on Jakku, so she would definitely appreciate this. Anyway,
Wow.
the two
only
connect
good
through the
character
bond.
moment. Yeah, it's the only good character moment in an otherwise bland, awful film. Great.
And then she jumps in and swims.
It's a nice minor detail, emphasis on minor.
Which has nothing to do with being or not being a Mary Sue.
But also remember, she sails that ship
Yeah.
in Skywalker.
At that point in the film, she can fly. It's like, yeah, whatever. She can do anything. It doesn't matter.
She's never seen a huge body of water before, so has never sailed before, and yet she sails the
Steals a
choppiest
boat.
seas.
Goes under, was it 50 feet waves like it's nothing? You're like, okay.
Never seen this much green in the whole galaxy, but I'm gonna go take this boat out.
Like a boss.
Yay.
And they have another revealing conversation. One thing I love about their attitudes is that it's sometimes the opposite of what we expect. Usually the Jedi is the one who is calm and collected, and it's the dark side user
She's not a Jedi.
that is the aggressor. But in The Last Jedi and more prominently in The Rise of Skywalker, Rey is usually the aggressor and Kylo is the one who is calm and collected. Just watch the duel on the second Death Star and tell me that Rey isn't the one fighting with anger and Kylo isn't the one who is calm and collected. So Kylo asks why the Force is connecting them, and Rey calls him a murderous snake. Now, this is probably unintentional, but I like how she calls him a murderous snake, and then
What does that have to do with anything?
Force heals a literal murderous snake.
Oh my god.
That's so stupid. Get out of here. Legal opinions.
When she uses the word rabbit, and then she talks to a rabbit in the next
She
movie.
literally eats a rabbit.
Gosh, what is wrong? Oh my gosh, that's so terrible. That is so dumb.
She says she doesn't want to be queen, and then she runs into a queen who she doesn't want to be.
Oh man, that's terrible.
Here's Jake the surgeon. Guys, she touched rain. Mary Sue's can't feel rain. Okay. Yeah.
Let the rain fall down and wake my dreams.
No.
Stop it.
Shut up. Shut up. We're not doing that.
Dunn, shame on you. Do not sing. You're not good at it.
No, you don't sing to compensate for this terrible stuff. We have to stick it out like a man. Let's get back into it, boys.
Okay, let's keep going.
Also
Take
the
'em out.
person she called a murderous snake. Just a neat connection that I really like. Kylo
Fuck's
asks
sake,
Rey
it's
if
not a
Luke told her
connection,
what
you can
happened the
make that
night
up.
he destroyed his temple, and this throws Rey off. Kylo asking Rey if Luke told her something implies that Luke is hiding something from Rey, something he doesn't want her to know,
Okay.
which makes sense considering he lies to her the first time he tells Rey what happened.
No, he doesn't.
Rey tells Kylo she knows everything she needs to know about him, and this shows a lot about her naivety. Rey wants to believe Kylo is just this evil person, but it's not that simple. There is so much more to Kylo's backstory that Rey doesn't know yet. So what this Force Bond scene really establishes is another example of how naive Rey really is. She's always willing to believe things that she wishes to be
Okay, she's not omniscient. Thanks. That's great. That has nothing to do with being a Mary Sue.
true rather than what's actually true. She wants to believe that her parents are coming back, but they aren't. She wants
Why?
to believe that Finn is with the Resistance, but he isn't.
Why?
She wants to believe that Luke is this perfect person, but he isn't. She
Why?
wants to believe that Kylo is just this simply evil man, but he isn't.
Why?
Rey choosing to believe things she wants to be true is a huge flaw.
It's
What-
not a flaw.
It's not.
No.
Thinking
It's not-
things is not a flaw.
And also, she doesn't. That you're wrong with the whole wants to believe Kylo Ren is simply evil, because you're showing the scene where she goes to see him thinking he can change. If anything, her flaw is she's too nice, or she sees the best in people even when it's not there. She's
Yeah.
too good a person.
Yeah.
So, an example of a good person in of a paragon character in a story is Ned Stark in Game of Thrones, Precious on Ice and Fire, where he is an honorable man. He's a good man. There are people, he is surrounded by people who screw him over, and in the end, dead.
Yeah, he's the lawful good D&D archetype.
Ned Flanders from Game of Thrones.
I don't know who Ned Flanders is, but I imagine that he would make Season 8 a lot better.
Yes, he would.
Hi diddly ho, neighbor.
Yes, he would.
Chaos is a ladder, neighbor.
One flaw that a Mary Sue would not possess. At the end of
Why?
Why?
Being too nice, believing in people too much, sounds like a Mary Sue to me.
Pretty much, yeah.
Dumb person. You're such a good person. How could you be such a flawed person by believing in people? Stupid.
There's a trope called Paragon Dumb or something like, or Paradumb or something like that, where you're always good and you think everything should be the way that you see it,
Yeah.
to the point of your
Also,
intelligence going down.
So, like, we have had no evidence that Kylo Ren is in any way, shape, or form sympathetic until The Last Jedi. Even then, it's still bad
It's-
because he's still a school
yeah.
shooter and psychopath.
It's up in the air, but he's mostly violent and yeah, psychopathic. Because he just stares at Rey and goes, "Duh."
Like, he's not. He doesn't even have the charm or charisma of Hannibal Lecter.
No, well, that's intelligence and sophistication. So yeah.
their bond, calls Kylo a monster, and he responds by saying, "Yes, I am." This response makes Rey genuinely
yeah,
uncomfortable
totally, dude.
because this is a very unusual response. And to me, this hinted towards Rey that there is something going on with him, and there is. Kylo was told his whole life that he is a monster. His parents
No, he hasn't. What are you talking about?
When was I? What?
I don't.
The minute that he started being a monster?
When
he-
he started
He was a
killing
monster.
people.
Yeah, when he started acting like one?
Okay.
And even then, I don't think his parents ever called him once. They just said Snoke got to him.
We
and
love
stuff
you,
like
son.
that.
Come back with us. You're a monster. Like, what? Okay. Okay,
It
Dad.
also seems as though Han doesn't really know his son very well. His son just like somehow his son is kind of just turned into a Jason Voorhees type.
Shipped him off
Yeah,
to Luke, and Luke almost killed him. If people keep calling you a monster, especially your family, odds are that you are going to think you're a monster.
Okay, let's just clarify this. They never called him a monster, okay?
Never called him a monster.
Never happened.
Never, ever, never, ever.
And this Kylo thinks that, and this is also why Rey later on wants to help him, because she doesn't think Kylo is a monster, but someone who is deeply troubled and could be saved. Her next scene is her second lesson with Luke, which doesn't focus on Rey that much. Its main focus is on Luke. The only thing that affects Rey really in this scene is that she is told a lie about what happened the night Kylo destroyed Luke's temple, which ties directly into the third Force Spawn scene. First of all, a Mary Sue would not be overwhelmed by seeing Adam Driver shirtless. So when
Why not?
Why not? A Mary Sue would not be overwhelmed by them abs, yo.
Mary Sue are awkward as well. It's a part of who they are. Because they don't.
Rey blushes at Kylo's abs, and that's why she's not a Mary Sue.
Yeah, you're looking really good. I'm distracted by the fact that you killed all your schoolmates and a lot of people I know.
She can redeem the villain through her
sweaty.
overwhelming goodness and purity. More often than not, though, she does it by having sex with them. As explained below, she will often be a virgin when this happens, which would ordinarily imply she's sacrificing a virgin power to redeem the villain. Except the real reason she's a virgin is just to make her better than the rest of the female cast.
Isn't she a virgin?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
she
so-
technically has forced sex with him.
Oh, no! No!
Interestingly, she's often also a virgin at the start of the story, and not for any plot reason, but rather to differentiate her from the other girls in the story. Her lack of experience never diminishes the quality of the sex, nor does anatomical impossibility, which usually betrays the author's lack of experience. Her lover is often a Draco in leather pants, an enemy who can be redeemed by her vagina.
Yay!
What are you talking about, Smut?
I don't know, but this is apparently what a Mary Sue is. Wow. It's as if I actually did some research and referenced something where it says Mary Sue traits in the title. So yeah, this is almost word for word what is happening in the story. Obviously, it's not perfect. You can't have a trope match a frickin' story by every single pattern. But he's got the black pants. They're using another form of sex, if you want to go that far, with fingers. And she believes she could turn him.
Apparently, Mary Sue's don't blush at Kylo Ren's abs. If you say so, Gold, I'll give you that one, but I think you made that up.
Here is Jake the Surgeon.
Usually,
Go ahead.
they can be awkward. It just won't affect the plot in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, this doesn't affect the plot. She just wants to help him. It doesn't happen, so she goes elsewhere. Jake the Surgeon, I must reiterate from yesterday, this man claimed he redrafted his script on Twitter. I don't know what that means, whether it was after he made the video or during. I don't know. It's not a good sign, though.
Like while he was crafting it.
Yeah. Ivan the Mad Vandal. A Mary Sue wouldn't want to charm Kylo's snake. Don't know. Don't care. I'm just like, dude.
She's too good for the sinful earth. So.
She's perfect. She's amazing. She's going to heal the bad guy of the bad.
When Rey flusters here, it is the ultimate example of her not being a Mary Sue.
Oh, shut up, you moron. Give me a break. She has emotions. What?
This is you fucking made this up and you're being smug about it.
I mean, I haven't heard of a Mary Sue blushing easily, but it is another common trait of the easy heroine which is no better than the Mary Sue. So even if we say that, okay, this doesn't make her a Mary Sue, it does make her an easy heroine, which is no better.
By this guy's metric, a Mary Sue can't find other people attractive. That is, if that even is what Rey is thinking right now and seeing. Hell, she might just find it off-putting. If I wanted to have a conversation with Smud and he had no pants on, I'd ask him to put pants on.
Why? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, then he'd be a Mary Sue.
Mary Sues don't need pants.
You seen how it should have ended, where Kylo Ren's just on the toilet, completely buck naked, and he's got a newspaper in front of him?
Does it hurt?
It's so funny. I love it.
So Mary Sues can't have emotions, guys. It doesn't matter what the emotion is. They can't feel a thing. They're robots. I never knew this description existed.
But in all seriousness, this scene does actually show us a lot of Rey's flaws. Rey asks Kylo why he killed his father and that she doesn't understand. These next few exchanges are so important. I think people are too focused on a shirtless Adam Driver to understand what's going on.
What?
Whoa,
You guys are so
dude.
attracted to this man, you can't pay attention to the rest of the film. Oh
I
my
agree.
God.
Happened to me. Can't deny it.
For 5 seconds, I was stunned. I was in awe.
I was amazed at how this guy's fashion was from 1955 and his pants were pulled
Pants
up.
were pulled up to his bill past his. You guys just weren't paying attention, okay?
No,
Which
we
I don't
were, you
understand. He
weren't.
says,
No, your parents threw you away like garbage.
They didn't.
They did, but you can't stop needing them.
no, your parents threw you away like garbage, basically saying that she should understand. They were both abandoned by their parents.
Oh,
She responds by
making
saying
that
they
up.
didn't.
What?
Because at this
What?
point in the
What?
story, Rey is still in denial about what happened with her parents.
Why
Okay.
Kylo wasn't abandoned by Leia and Han.
Okay. Here's another
Sent to
trait by
trade.
the Mary Sue. Relatedly, she will often have a tragic family life. This could involve parental abandonment or orphanhood, whichever parental figures she has are often abusive, putting her squarely into Cinderella circumstances. You can go darker, etc., etc. Regardless, this backstory will never actually hold Mary Sue back from anything she wants to accomplish.
Sounds like Rey.
Sounds like Rey.
What Kylo says next is literally spelling out her biggest flaw. He says,
They did, but you can't stop needing them. It's your greatest weakness. Looking for them everywhere, in Han Solo, now in Skywalker.
they did, but you can't stop needing them. It's your greatest weakness, looking for them everywhere in Han Solo, now in Skywalker.
Kylo is a villain. He could be lying to her or making stuff up. Or
I mean, we know for a fact that he is lying, based on
So-
episode 9.
yeah, that's
So
true.
he's a
Also, how
also-
fucking obvious is the film doing this right now? We don't have to even if this is entirely 100% true, this is not left for the audience to think about. Maybe Rey has a flaw in this regard. They just fucking throw it in your slap you with this information. It's like she has a flaw.
I know.
Shut up.
It's so silly that the stories has to tell us your flaw is X, and then it just does nothing with it. Like, thanks, Ryan. I didn't think of that. Okay, I gotta be told what the flaw is.
The irony being that Gold heard this from the film and accepted it immediately.
Yeah. Therefore, the whole story is about her. This is the actual flaw because Kylo said so.
Well, I think the reason why Kylo is saying this is because this is what Ryan believes, or this is what Ryan wishes was the truth. But since he can't trust the audience to interpret the last movie and this movie like that, he's having a character state it to reinforce the way he wants his film to be seen.
Right. And you have Kylo the villain. This is what Kylo believes. He just killed his dad. This is what his philosophy is. He's saying, hey, you should do what I just did, and then you could be whatever you need to be, which is the bad thing to do, which is the wrong thing to believe, which makes Kylo the villain, and Rey is being tempted by the villain. It's like, yes, the scene is very obvious. Just because he says it's a flaw doesn't mean it's an actual flaw. Because if it was a flaw, we would see her being held back by everyone else, her relationships with everyone else, or whatever the case may be. That never happens. She's never going, gee, if I just didn't have friendships, I would be so much stronger in the Force. She's already strong in the Force. In fact, she goes back to Leia, and she trains under Leia and becomes even stronger. So Kylo's wrong, as we learn in Episode 9. That's not a very good argument, but I'm just saying. Sorry, super chats. Ivan, the Med Vandal. Mary Sue wouldn't want to charm Kylo Snake. Oh, I already said that. Alex Halo. Ben is not a Stoffel, so I'm not distracted. All right, there were some things in Apocalyptica that people liked, so Stoffel is one of them, for obvious reasons. Is large armament.
Literally spells out that Rey's greatest weakness is her need for her parents, and people have the audacity to watch this movie and say Rey has no flaws. He proceeds to tell her his point.
People have the audacity to watch this movie and say that she has no flaws.
This isn't a flaw with Rey. This is a flaw with her parents.
Doesn't slow her down that much. She wants to know about it, but that's
Your
it.
parents left you somewhere. That is their choice. That is the thing they did wrong. It's like you miss your parents. That is a flaw. No, that's a feeling.
How does that impact other relationships she has with people? It's like, I want a strawberry sundae. Do I go out of my way to get the strawberry sundae and miss dates with friends? That could be a flaw, because I'm ruining my relationship, or I'm letting people down. How is her going down into the butthole of the dark side and talking to them to get the answers hurting people? How is it affecting others? That is what a flaw does. If everything's internal, who the hell cares? It's when she affects the outside world that it matters to the story. And right now, you could argue the plot is not working out very well because she can't get Luke to come with her. But she finds a solution. She says, I don't need Luke. I can go get Kylo.
And then Snoke dies.
Right. She just solves a problem by accidentally doing something else. Now, you could say that's coincidence, or you could just call it poorly written. There's all sorts of silly things we could talk about here. But Mary Sue? It's not even a Mary Sue thing, I don't think. I could probably go through the list. It's just she wants to know about her parents.
Though, everything falls into place very easily for her. I think that is...
Yeah.
Even her mistakes end up paying off for her.
Yeah, she feels after the mirror experience. Yeah, she feels, what's the term? She's never felt as lonely as she ever felt before in her life, which is interesting because she's was alone on her by herself most of her life. So that's a form of weakness. That's true, but then, boom, she goes after Kylo. Boom, got a weakness, done. Got a problem, done. Got a conflict, done. Snoke dies. It's just the plot just collapses in front of her.
A view on the destroy Luke's temple. I love Rey's response here. She calls him a liar, but the way she says it shows that she knows he is somewhat telling the truth. This is great acting on the part of Daisy Ridley, in my opinion. Then Kylo gives her the famous "Let the past die" speech before the scene ends. And one more thing, if you are someone who says "Let the past die" is the theme of this movie, then you are something else.
Oh boy. What's the theme? No. Let me guess. The theme of the movie is when Yoda tells us the theme, right? Is that the theme? It can only be that because you have to hear the words.
Boy, Smud, you are something else.
If you
What a
think this is
smut.
what the film's about, I don't know about your parents.
The film is about whatever I decide it is at the time.
The philosophy of the villain is almost never the theme of the movie. The theme of Infinity
What?
War is not sacrificing half of humanity for the greater good of the other half. So I hope people realize that the theme of a movie like Star Wars
Does
is
he know the concept of major and minor themes? Maybe his interpretation of themes is different than mine, but I'm quite sure you could have all kinds of themes in your film.
Hmm.
What's wrong with having a villain as espousing a theme? Or anyone?
Tywin does a really good job of theme of utilitarianism, where he says it's noble to kill 10,000 men in battle or a dozen at dinner. He's ultimately hypocritical because he did kill 1,000 men. It was just not on a battlefield.
It's strange to attack people who see a line of dialogue that represents a theme or an idea, and you say, no, that didn't happen. That's not a theme. Without defining what a theme
And
is.
the movie supports that. And the movie supports it
Yeah,
in a lot of
villains.
ways.
All it is a villain has a different ideology than the protagonist. That's it. They think this. The protagonist thinks that. They have conflict. Yada yada. You can make that physical. You can make that intellectual. It doesn't really matter if it works with the content of the film. To me, a theme is just the main conflict of the story as a major theme, and the minor theme is the rest of the conflicts that do not fit the same label. That's it. So to me, this is more of a philosophical idea, nihilism. And we get that feeling a lot from the story in general because there's a lot of nothing that happens in this film where it's death or destruction, and that's all we learn. The past is meaningless.
We get it from Jake, we get it from Kylo, we get it from Snoke, we get it
from Rey with the her seeing her parents, her Force vision thing.
Yep.
Going
Going to
Ryan,
to Canto Bight, that was pointless. Like there's lots of stupid nothing in this story. Death and destruction and nothing happens. They're in the exact same place they were at the beginning of the film.
It's usually the exact opposite of the villain's philosophy or something similar to that.
Okay.
Immediately afterwards,
Wait,
she goes straight to the Force cave she saw.
All right, so the opposite in this case, in his argument of killing the past if you have to grow, is embracing the past you must to grow. I guess. I'm just trying to follow his logic there. I'm like, okay, I don't think that was the theme of the story.
Assume that there is logic.
If that was the theme, then we don't know anything about Rey's background that she has to embrace. There's nothing to embrace. We don't learn anything about it. It's just like, what is he talking about?
Earlier, she goes here because Luke mentioned how the cave had something she needed, and that something is the identity of her parents. One criticism that is often laid on
Wait,
Rey
Luke
here-
said that?
No, Luke never mentions her parents.
No. Like, go to the cave, you'll find something you need. I don't think she said that, or Luke said that.
He said, best that he said was it offered someone something you needed.
Right, but
that's the most he said.
Yeah, he chastised her for going there because that was when she cracked the ground and he got pissed off because you leapt to the dark side without even thinking about it or whatever.
No, that was two different. The going into the butthole part of that island wasn't her visiting the cave. The cave was a physical place on the island.
Right. Oh, this was when she's about to touch Kylo. He walks in the door. And then she goes chasing after her, and whatever. This is, never mind.
Here is that she shouldn't be able to swim. Now, this is like one of the smallest nitpicks because Rey is swimming for less than 10 seconds, and it's not even that important to the scene. But sure, it's likely that Rey
it would have
hadn't done
killed
any
her
swimming.
if she didn't know how to swim, but yes.
But like Rey is swimming out in the ocean here, she falls like a few feet away from an edge. And if you zoom in, it's not like she's even swimming properly. She's kind of just doggy paddling for like 3 seconds towards the edge. Also, most people who can't swim and end up drowning do so because of panicking. Just because Rey may have never...
So she
Why
can
is
swim.
she not panicking?
So she's not panicking and she could swim. How could she swim? She's never seen water before. Never swam before in her life.
The argument is that we only see her swimming for 3 seconds. It's like, yes, you're right, because they cut the scene. So we don't see the struggle, if there even is one.
There isn't, so...
It is an opportunity to present Rey with a challenge that she has not encountered before, because why would she ever swim or know how to swim when she grew up on a desert planet? It is the chance to show a unique challenge specific to Rey, and the scene cuts.
That would have been a great dark side, vision thing, where she's actually in danger. And it would make sense, because she never swam before, and then she wakes up like, oh my god, I can't breathe, and she has to get the hell out of there. Would have been nice.
If she taps into the dark side and uses that to push the water away, that would like Moses in 10 Commands, where it's like pushing the water away. That would be cool.
Or she drowns, has her vision, and before she can see who her parents are, she's woken up by Luke resuscitating her because she drowned.
Instead, it's during the meditation where she gets scared because she senses the dark side. Then she wakes up where the water somehow it's a visual. You see the water hit the rock. It's her hand, and she's all wet and sweaty. And Luke's like, "You went there. You just went there, and it called to you. You didn't even think about it." Like that's where he gets pissed off at her. So.
Never swam, but that doesn't mean she is necessarily afraid of large bodies of water. I've never been
It's not that she's afraid, that she has the skill of swimming.
Skydiving before, but I'm not afraid to do it. So I'm pretty sure...
You say that once you're up in the aeroplane ready to jump.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen until it happens. Now, he could have said, I was never scared of skydiving before, and then I went and did it, and it wasn't a big deal. That would be a better story than, I've never done something before, but I'm pretty sure I would never be scared of it.
A real athletic person who doesn't swim and isn't panicking could paddle to an edge that is less than 10 feet away. After she gets out of the water, she looks into the Force mirror to get more answers about her parents. Now, I'm not going to analyze what this mirror portion was trying to say, because it's not important to Rey being a Mary Sue. But
I know exactly what this meant based on Rian Johnson's own comments. All he said was, it's basically, it's a gotcha thing, where she's saying, okay, where the cave is essentially saying, or the movie is saying to Rey, well, you think you can find your parents? You think there's some easy answers here? No, you got to find it out for yourself. There are no easy answers here. That's all this was saying.
It's a non-answer. Just like everything else Rian Johnson has to say is just non-answers.
So when he says the third lesson was, that's up for the audience to decide. No, it's in a deleted scene.
We'll say that Rey entering this cave in the first place shows she is not a Mary Sue. Remember, Rey wants to find her parents, and she wants them to be people who are special. Because if they are special, then so is she by default. Rey looking at other people...
That's never said. What is... A lot of people say she's thinking that her parents are special, but that is not in evidence. That is bull crap. Unless it's in the film, it's not a part of the story.
we don't get any evidence to suggest that she cares at all who her parents are. All she wants to do is find someone. She never indicates like any expectations on who they'll be or what they'll be like.
For self-gratification is a flaw, and this
Self-gratification? I want to know who my parents are for self-gratification?
What?
What?
Makes
Yeah.
no sense. That is
What do you-
utterly asinine.
I don't.
I
mean, I guess
Yeah.
when I discover who my parents are, I'll be happy about. Just the fact to know is nice. You can call that gratification, but it's that's a minor
Think of
thing.
gratification. I think of Tyrion. When I think of like gratification, I think about Tyrion in A Dance with Dragons wanting to rape and murder his sister because he hates her.
That's nice.
Rey is not a Mary Sue because a Mary Sue would already know who their parents are.
She doesn't possess knowledge, therefore not a Mary Sue. It's like, okay.
She doesn't know who her family is, so she's not a Mary Sue. My examples and reasoning behind this are non-existent.
I decide what's a Mary Sue, and I like it, so it's not.
I invented new terms, therefore. Semantics plus headcanon. It's amazing, amazing tool.
Chocolate is
all
not a
about her
dessert,
trying-
okay? It's also breakfast.
Oh no, Camp Cretaceous, Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. Oh gosh, I've been avoiding that for a while.
Oh, is that the Netflix thing?
Yeah. Avoiding that. I've just been like, I do not want to watch this. Why would I want to do this?
All right, we got 7 minutes.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Let's just do it.
Only 7 minutes? This will go by really quickly.
to seek answers that will make her feel special. That is why when she doesn't get the answers she is looking for, she is upset. And what's the first thing she does afterwards? Goes to Kylo Ren for comfort and tells him that she's never felt so alone.
No, the first the bond just happens. She has no control over this.
He doesn't call him.
A
Just headcanon.
source of comfort. That is asinine.
Kylo's just there like, listen, I run an empire. I'm very busy. I don't have time for this. I'm still trying to find and destroy you.
Yeah, pretty much.
For someone who has lived such an independent life, it's amazing that she is so emotionally dependent on others.
Yes, she doesn't
Yeah,
have a
almost
flaw
like,
in-
almost like it's nonsensical.
the normal character thing would be to be very abrasive because you've grown up this whole time and not needed a babysitter, so you're sort of uncomfortable, embarrassed, and arrogant at the idea that now people depend on you and you have to depend on others. If anything, Rey should be very stalwart and like unopen to the idea of like being with other people and expressing emotions. But no, she's very well rounded. In fact, she's too nice.
And it makes perfect sense that she goes to Kylo here.
No,
He
it
just told her
doesn't.
how he
Prep school girl.
Luke would be the better option.
Wookiee would be a great option. Just hug the guy.
Chewie, go to Chewie. He's still sat in the fucking Falcon, just eating. There's just a mountain of pork carcasses in the corner because he's just been catching and eating them. He's so bored of doing nothing. Go speak to Chewie.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
talk his
because
language.
Chewie
Go
is
for it.
basically useless. She's basically useless.
He breaks in a door and that's that. That's all he does. You could have breaked in the door and break Luke's legs and just dragged him with him. She's like, come on, we're going.
felt abandoned by his parents. Rey strongly relates to this. She may not want to kill her parents the next time she sees them, but she understands that pain of feeling abandoned but still needing them. This is what causes Rey to begin to somewhat trust Ben.
Hey,
She
do you know
knows
who
what
else
he
is probably feeling quite alone? Chewbacca up in the Falcon.
Because he legit has nobody.
He has no. He sat in the ship that once belonged to his now dead best friend. And then everyone, Rey and Luke are going through their own like mental gymnastics on their position in the world, and Chewie's just sort of sat there being forgotten.
Yeah.
Can someone give the Sasquatch a hug?
She's not a Mary Sue, even though she sees the best in everybody all the time.
She confides in the most evil person she's ever met because she thinks.
Oh my God! You killed your daddy.
She trusts the most evil man she's ever met with these deep feelings.
Oh, you're the only other person that has power like me. We should take over the galaxy. Wow, that's intriguing. Really? No.
It makes perfect sense.
No,
Do you want to...
mission could change my entire outlook on life. Really? No.
Ray, take my hand so that we can just, have a regular conversation about everything. Instead of being all dramatic.
Kylo's face in this elevator scene right now is like, you're too close.
You're really not that great. You're kind of annoying.
I really don't like you.
I wish you didn't exist. Your existence makes me angry, and it's frustrating.
In about 5
Please
minutes,
stop trying to be close to me. I don't like you.
in about 5 minutes, you're probably gonna die, like really, really bad. Okay.
Are you some kind of stalker chick or something?
You realize we're going to go see my boss. He's probably gonna kill you.
I don't even really like this guy. I just wanted to know what he had to say about the dark side. I don't know why Anakin never told me that being a bad guy was a bad idea, but that just seemed to do it.
Is going through, so she thinks she can help him turn back to the light side. This is why she's open
Do you
to
want to make
touching his
out
hand.
and turn me back to the light side, baby? I'll do it for you.
No, Joe. Ray gets that close. He's like, no, germs.
Ew, you have very Sue cooties. Get away from me.
Yeah, what does Rey smell like? She was like thrown in the rain and dirt and whatever. Traveled so.
He's like backing off. He's like, sorry, go on.
Yeah, what do you smell like, Rey? Like, ugh.
Do you smell good?
But she probably smells rank.
Ugh. Nope, she looks all perfect though, and has like perfectly done hair and makeup. Even though,
yeah,
who's that for? Where did she learn that?
Understands him
My
now.
family.
However, before they can continue talking any further, Luke interrupts and breaks
And
their
cock
bond.
blocks them.
Rey is annoyed that Luke didn't tell her the truth, and they get into a small
tell me the
fight.
truth?
Now, the criticism
were
of
gonna
this
fuck
fight
him
is
up.
probably one of the worst criticisms of this movie. If you say that Rey beat Luke in this fight, then you are so disingenuous, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
This is very rich coming from you.
How does he not lose the fight?
anyone?
She beats him by grabbing a lightsaber and threatening to hit him with it.
She grabs his lightsaber from back in the day that magically appears.
Like if I had a gunfight with Glib here, and let's say I disarm him and take the pistol out of his hand, and then he pulls out a shotgun, and I'm like, oh fuck, and slip over.
Let's say if you attack me with a stick, right, like of kind of a big blunt object, and I pull out a laser sword, is that what you mean?
Yes. I go, oh Jesus, and then I trip backwards, and then I find that I'm on the floor defenseless, and you're standing over me with, laser sword, shotgun, whatever. It's safe to say I'm beaten. I have no response.
You go to use the Force to arrest your fall, and you realize, wait a minute, this isn't Star Wars, so you just bust your head open on the concrete. Oh, whoops!
Back.
Who's gonna save the galaxy now?
Oh crap! What?
I killed Luke Skywalker.
Oh no, this guy has a thing of why film is subjective.
Yep.
Of course he does. But he's
Yep.
gonna say that she's not a Mary Sue definitively.
Hang on. Why a film is subjective, then with the very objective title, Rey is not a Mary Sue?
Yeah.
From my point of view, film is subjective.
If it's subjective, Goldman, then surely what we're saying can be true.
He just says objectivity ruined. Isn't that objective?
No.
It's funny because film is subjective is within itself an objective statement.
But boredom is objective.
Just like
Yeah.
Rey is not Mary Sue is a very objective statement.
So we're disingenuous because Luke lost the battle when he didn't lose the battle. Okay.
Well,
Even-
I think his argument is just that they were fighting, or Luke overwhelmed her when they were fighting with sticks, and Rey had to escalate to a lightsaber in order to end it. And therefore, because she escalated to lethal means, is why she lost the fight.
Okay.
Ryan Johnson as his and of course he uses Ryan Johnson as his thumbnail.
Brian Johnson, the greatest director.
Giant Ronson.
Luke is literally
Spielberg.
toying with her. Let's just look how he fights her. He dodges her 3 times and then hits her. He's blocking all of her attacks, and then he straight up takes her staff and tosses it away. I don't think there's anything more disrespectful in weapon combat than effortlessly
Why does
grabbing
she
your
pull her
opponent's
arms
weapon
back?
and tossing
What
it
is
away.
that?
Rey
What kind of
is
acting is
easily
that?
outmatched here, and this scene shows it. She has to grab a lightsaber in order to make Luke listen to her. And it would be
In order
completely
to
out of
beat
Luke's
Luke.
character to retaliate any further here. What would you want him to do? Punch Rey in the face and take the
Yes!
lightsaber from her?
Do
Yes!
anything.
I want him to take the lightsaber, slice her in half, and then go, Chewie, we're going to find Han.
Or Chewie, we're going to find Kylo and we're gonna kick Snoke's butt.
Chewie, we're going to lunch.
She has to pull out the lightsaber in order to make Luke listen to her. You mean in order to beat Luke? Which is
Also,
what she does with that move.
Glib, now that you say that slice her in half, maybe we could have Chewie eat her. That sounds like a fitting end. And
Slice and
she-
dice, brothers.
Yeah, she just ends as a pile of Wookiee poop on.
He could have done any number of force maneuvers to stop her. Like throw her up in the air, throw her off a
Grab his
cliff.
own lightsaber.
Oh yeah, he has one.
Grab
That's
his own
right.
Why didn't he do that with Kylo Ren?
Where is his green lightsaber?
I thought that
Crying out
they have like equal power, right? Kylo Ren or whatever. Like I've only seen this power once before. So why didn't he make a fool of Kylo Ren instead of stand over him, thinking, maybe I should kill my sister's son? I'm killing the wrong one. I need to kill Rey because she's a Mary Sue. Get her out of this universe.
No. So this fight is another example of why Rey is not a Mary Sue.
Shut the
beats Luke
front
Skywalker.
door.
She beats Luke Skywalker.
She wins,
Luke
therefore
Skywalker.
she's not a Mary Sue. Okay, that is all right.
Like I said, in a knife fight, if I disarm my opponent and then they reach for a bigger weapon and I stumble backwards in shock, then I'm at a disadvantage. I've lost.
We get into a kung fu fight. It's all like slap, slap, slap. I'm kicking your ass. Then all of a sudden you pull out a giant revolver and jam it down my throat. Who's winning now, kid? Oh, I think that I'm still winning because I was making fun of you just like 5 seconds ago.
Just say, "Oh, we brought a knife. You're a knife guy. You got a knife? Not got a knife? Got a knife? Got a bazooka."
Don't bring a stick to a lightsaber fight, and don't bring your stupid dodging technique to a Mary Sue fight.
Yeah.
It's not a Mary Sue trait to be like Luke Skywalker in this way.
At this point, it's just he's interpreting something that we know is one way, and he's seeing it as a totally opposite. And this is an objective observation. Like, everyone who watches this sees that Rey is in control of the scenario, really. She has the superior weapon.
She is once she has Luke Skywalker on the ground. Yeah.
At her mercy, yes. He thinks Luke won. Or at least that she didn't win. Do we need to continue listening to this person? Like, he's already done headcanon. He's done some really strange inferences. He doesn't know what logic works, or doesn't know how his own logic works.
It's pretty clear from the visibility who's in the more advantageous position once their little scuffle has ended, and it's not Luke. So
once you pull out a lightsaber, yes, that's.
She has him at saber point. She could kill him.
We know she won't, but obviously the shock that Luke has when she just pulls it out immediately.
All right, let's see what
have him recoil backwards.
5 more minutes.
Yeah.
Let's see what else he's got.
Mary Sue would easily outclass Luke in a fight and wouldn't need a lightsaber to end the confrontation. If Rey were Mary Sue, she would be the one dodging all of his attacks, and she would be the one grabbing his weapon and tossing it away.
She did grab his weapon!
As an example of Rey being a Mary Sue,
that lightsaber is his weapon.
You are easily
stupid.
just manipulating the movie to support your agenda.
I'm manipulating the movie?
Oh my god, dude!
What are you talking about, sir?
Oi, get the fuck out of here, you stupid little motherfucking maggot! What are you talking about?
What's our agenda? That we want better movies than this tripe?
We're going off what we can see visibly, and it's Rey best Luke by pulling out a weapon and taking him by surprise.
Quit.
Quit.
There's really nothing to say because we're just in awe of what's going on. Like, what is he talking about?
Like, if you don't agree with me, you're just manipulating it. Like, what? It's not what you're doing.
Haven't you been using your own headcanon to manipulate your point of view for the last, 40 minutes? I say that as if he's going to ever watch this. He won't.
No.
No.
He wants Smaller to cover this video. I know that.
Instead of taking what happened at face value. So after Luke...
Face value.
Face value! At face value, she's standing over him with a lightsaber in her hands. Like, I'm gonna kill you.
Right. But
And the exact same... And by the way...
Thematically, it's the exact same position that Luke was in when he was standing over Kylo. So she could be just as bad as Luke. Okay.
Oh my god. Symbolisms. Glib, you should never take what you see as what you see at face value.
2 + 2 equals Squinpleton.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I've heard that before, but it's subjective, so let's say you're both right.
We're both right. Art is not math. It's actually a science of subjectivity.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And science within itself is subjective anyway, so it's a subjective on subjectivity.
I can't believe he's dragging this out so long.
This is garbage.
Tells
Little
Rey what
clown
really
boy.
happens. She leaves to go confront Ben Solo. She believes that if she goes to him, then she can turn him back to the light side. So after changing
has
her
a lot
outfit,
of
giving
faith in
strange
this
looks
man
at the
she
lightsaber and
hated.
putting on some mascara, she goes to see Kylo.
What? Why?
Why would he describe that? Why?
Somebody needs to go and chop up all of these segments and just find every part where I say why.
I gotta go.
Why? Why? Is she in love with the school shooter? What's going on here?
She gets a nice shirt, and then she cleans her hair, and then she does some makeup, and she looks really pretty.
She douches.
She
She puts on perfume.
a lot of faith in a man she hated a day ago. And
She
the only reason for us to believe that she doesn't hate him now is A, she had a weird acid trip in the butthole, and B, Luke tried to kill him once.
Isn't there a trait of a Mary Sue that they always look good in every scenario?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, part of a Mary Sue is that they are physically beautiful.
Right.
Take it
You know,
away.
less so when she's doing her guppy face and her angry eyes, but you know.
Well,
That's that.
What a beautiful lady of the lake.
Like even when she gets like a scar or something, it's like a cool looking scar, or like she loses an arm, she gets a cool looking robotic arm or something. It's always like something like bad is always something good.
when
David, pick me up. I might not like Rey, but I still like you.
Oh, here we go. I found it. She will never look ugly no matter what she's been through. The worst she'll ever be reduced to is unkempt beauty. If she is ever somehow injured or scarred, the scar will always look cool and serve more as a decoration than anything else. She may have a birthmark, but never in a place that compromises her beauty. Although she may wankst that it does, no other character will agree with her. It will always have a significant shape to be birthmark of destiny. Oh, yeah.
Question, does she ever actually sustain a scar on her face in any way?
Nope. She gets a scar on her arm. That's it.
Yeah.
And then she covers it up in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. I might be misremembering the Rise of Skywalker. She might get a small bang on the forehead, but
like a bruise or two, but it's gone by the end, so it doesn't matter.
And as soon as Snoke does that, he dies. So,
yeah.
Gotta give Rey, she's really making sure she looks her best when she's going to Kylo. He puts her in handcuffs and they go in the elevator, which is probably one of the sexiest scenes in Star Wars.
What is with these people?
Oh my god!
What the hell is he talking about?
Twin Folly?
Did you honestly?
Is this Twin Folly's brother or something?
Oh god, we still got an hour of this crap.
This is like Twin Folly's brother. Oh my goodness!
What did he say just there? What was that? I missed that.
Let's rewind it.
Pull it back. Credit. She's really
scene.
making sure she looks her best when she's going to Kylo. He puts her in handcuffs and they go in the elevator, which is probably one of the sexiest scenes in Star Wars.
Why?
Okay, that's okay.
Is it sexy from like an actual physically attractive thing? That these are two attractive individuals. Is it sexy in a sense that, you know, they actually flirt with each other, so it's kind of hot content, or is it sexy in like the way it's filmed and what have you, and you'd be like, that's some sexy camera angles.
Well, maybe he likes handcuffs. I don't know. I just.
Oh my god, it's sexy like a blowjob is sexy, but blowing your brains out isn't. That's how it is.
Insight into Gold's tastes here. He likes too much mascara and handcuffs.
Where did she? Why?
It's a goddamn elevator. There's nothing. Like you're just standing there. Like, what is wrong with this guy?
That's that scene in Star Trek where Kirk and Spock and McCoy are in the turbo lift. It's really sexy. We're going up the elevator, Spock. It's a turbo lift. Sexual.
Oh my.
Elevator scene with Luke and Vader was sexy, I guess.
No.
Yes. Elevators are sexy. just like when you fell into that nest of Gondogs.
The Gold strikes me as the kind of guy who goes into an elevator and pushes every button for the sexual relief.
No, the sexual tension. He wants more elevator. He wants to stay in there as long as possible.
It's just like floors 1 to 52, and he presses all the buttons.
I'm about to join the Quarter Mile High Club. Or whatever.
Let's keep going. We've been at this for nearly 5 hours.
3, but we're good.
2 hours. 3
Alex
hours.
Taylor, someone is taking my anti-jokes too seriously. I don't know, man. This is... Oh God. If someone ever said this in an elevator, this is the sexiest elevator I've ever been. It's like, you're the weirdest, creepiest man I have ever met.
You just, like, perv on all people there in the elevator?
Like, is he like a civic engineer? Is he like, I don't know.
I kind of want this. I kind of want this guy to go all AT-AT Chan on us. He's like getting super salty on Twitter. I just want that to happen.
He's
I
not
think it would
far
be
away
hilarious.
from that in the videos itself.
That is true.
All right, 4 minutes.
Cool man, 229, TLJ elevator scene. Who are you? Rogue One elevator scene. I'm you, but stronger. Was it
Ooh,
really?
fellow Anomaly Inc. co-host. Cool.
Okay, I think we're calmed down, right? We can keep going.
Oh,
I'm almost sane.
I'm not calm. This elevator scene's still going.
Oh, it's just so stimulating. My God. Is Kylo wearing pants?
I hope
Don't
so.
want him to.
Rey basically tells Kylo she knows he will turn good, and then Kylo is like, oh yeah, well, I know your parents. And Rey's like, oh,
Oh
crap.
yeah, well I know your parents.
So there.
Oh my gosh. Dev
You're
Champion
big
is
stupid.
fun.
Your parents are nobody.
She's just vomiting in the chat. It's so funny. Everybody hates this.
You'll turn to the dark. You'll turn to the light side, Kylo. Your parents suck.
Your parents never loved you, and they abandoned you. They were nobody. Traded you for drinking money.
Geez, that's a lot.
Do you want to join me now?
What are you, stupid?
Are you stupid?
Who'd ever want to join you, Kylo? What are you offering?
He's negging her.
Yeah. I'm just imagining the elevator scenes in Mass Effect 1. Like all those elevator scenes, and like the Goldman is playing this. He's like, oh my God.
Oh shit!
Look how slow this elevator. This is amazing. He gets pissed off. It's not in the second game. Anyway.
Then he takes her to Snoke. Now, this scene is a perfect example of people picking and choosing what they want to support their argument.
Okay.
Snoke tells Rey that she has fallen for a trap and that he formed the bond between Rey and Kylo.
Wait, so
there
we're
is
past the sexy scene already? Why was it sexy?
I
Or was
don't.
that like,
It's just an off the cuff. Oh, this is really great. This is amazing. This is sexy, and that's it.
was that supposed to be? Was that supposed to be a quick joke? Because he said all of that really reductively as well.
You want an actual sexy movie? Watch The Man from U.N.C.L.E. That's an actual sexy movie without actually like a lot of like physical interaction. That's an actually good movie.
You want a sexy movie?
I'll give you.
Go to Pornhub.
Ooh.
Just pick an Angie Everhart movie. Most of the movies she's in are porn.
10 of Star Wars Pornhub.
Well, there's Pokemon porn, so
Okay. Let's get back on track.
first evidence of not being a Mary Sue. She fell for a trap. Remember, Mary Sue's are...
Okay.
She didn't fall for a trap. Snoke.
She walked right into it. She was like, "Hey, look, there's a trap. That looks tasty." Just like everybody on 4chan.
You are correct. Rey did not have the omniscient power to predict that the strange gold slipper wearing man that she'd never met was using her and Kylo's connection that somehow exists to have them communicate across vast distances.
To get
Kylo, I thought we were gonna have Netflix and chill. Instead, there's
To be
this
fair-
super-powered Force-sensitive guy I didn't even notice was there, and
To
he's
be
gonna
fair,
do something.
Kylo didn't know about this plan either.
Why is there a clone that's being controlled by Palpatine in this room that's telling us that he's manipulating us?
and
And
remember,
Kylo's it's a clone.
he's doing this all to get to Luke. That's his plan. His master plan.
Oh.
oh no!
This whole he has this Force user just fall into his lap just so he can get to Luke.
But remember, it's because Rey shows up here that Snoke dies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if she hadn't fallen for this quote-unquote trap, Snoke would still be alive.
flawless and perfect and are overly competent, Snoke manages to freeze her and even lift her, something that Kylo couldn't do. It's implied that Snoke does the same mind probe that Kylo did in The Force Awakens, only this time it works and Rey gives up the location of Luke. This is definitely not something that would happen to a Mary Sue. For one, a Mary Sue would be powerful enough to prevent getting Force frozen, and secondly, a Mary Sue would not give up the location of Luke. How could people call Rey a Mary Sue in The Force Awakens for resisting Kylo, but not mention anything here when she doesn't resist Snoke?
You're right. It takes an infinitely powerful to break Rey. You are correct. It takes a being more powerful than we've ever seen before in order to just get Rey to say a few simple words.
Also, like Smud, you brought up like the Rand al'Thor's kind of a Mary Sue. Rand al'Thor has far worse things happen to him. Like the bit in the box in book 6 is awful.
So the Mary Sue can't face any kind of anything at all at any point. It's all just perfect. So in this scene, Snoke gets killed. The outcome of this scene is Snoke gets killed by the other villain, who then she saves. And then she just leaves. How is that not a Mary Sue thing? Like, everything works out. Like, nothing bad happens to her. She doesn't lose a limb. She doesn't lose anything. The villain dies.
Yeah. Just like in Force Awakens, when she got captured and was being tortured, that was the best possible outcome for the entire series.
Look at
She literally goes to the center of where the villain is, does nothing, and then the villain dies by his second in command.
Exactly.
Because she's so awesome that he doesn't want to kill her.
So just because
Mary Sue.
Yeah, just because there's a Mary Sue doesn't mean there can't be someone else who's strong or stronger. We don't even know if Snoke is stronger than her. She just doesn't do much to fight back, or if she is fighting back, we don't know. But let's assume that Snoke is super powerful, so he's even stronger than her. How does she fight him? How does she try to overcome this hurdle? She doesn't. The story just kills him off. It's a contrivance on top. Anything that comes near her is either gets defeated by her hand or by other circumstances. Everything turns out in her favor. And this is an amazing term. We kill the big bad out of nowhere. She was like a Trojan horse. It just came out and just boom. No one saw it coming, not even she. She was like, no planning, nothing, no setup. It's like spilling a drink. It's like, oop, I accidentally cut my master in half. I saw the opportunity. I took it. Done. The guy who's stronger than Rey couldn't sense the little thing next to him.
I guess he was coming so hard at the thought of killing her.
It's contrived on top of contrivance.
Yep.
It wasn't the thought of killing Rey that was making him coming. It was that sexy elevator scene.
As soon as that elevator opens up, it's like, oh.
Snoke's in perfect position to see the inside of that elevator every time it opens, and he's just wait for it. Oh yeah, that's a good-looking elevator.
That's why I made the circular room so I could always look at the elevator from any angle.
Play.
Next few minutes, Snoke is literally just toying with Rey. He knocks her on the head with the lightsaber, forces her to watch the resistance getting blown up, and then simply swipes her to the floor when she tries to rush him. Now, how can anyone watch this scene and still say Rey is a Mary Sue? She's completely outmatched
because he
here
dies.
and is honestly just embarrassing herself. This would never happen to the Mary Sue from the Star Trek story. Anyway, Snoke freezes Rey one more time and tells Kylo.
Just simply say, I think we can all agree a Mary Sue does not mean that they are better than everybody all the time, right?
They are strong.
Look. She the only reason why she can't beat this guy is so that Kylo can beat this guy. There's no reason why she can't beat this guy. He's so powerful that he gets killed by an easy misdirection. By a lightsaber that he put right next to him. He couldn't foresee that, but he could foresee that an enemy would be struck down. It's all conveniences. So he's saying like, "Oh look, she failed." It's like, no, she didn't. She didn't fail at all. She tried to go and do something, and it didn't work because it was a plot convenience.
You're absolutely right. Rey is definitely not a Mary Sue because the most powerful being in existence is better than her.
Oh, the evil. No.
Power to the most powerful thing in the world.
What? She can't do a power move against this guy because of what? I thought that's Luke Skywalker. The only power that he had seen that was anything like her was Kylo. So does he not know Snoke exists? If that's not like, what are the power levels of this stupid ass movie? It's not defined. It's exactly whatever it needs to be. If he can throw the Mary Sue around, it's supposed to be, oh wow, he's so powerful, but then he dies by the most obvious stupid thing.
The simple fact that Snoke exists does not disprove that May is a Mary Sue. Rey is a Mary.
Well, when Say is a Rary Moo,
just because Snoke exists does not mean Rey isn't a Mary Sue.
Snoke? You mean Palpatine? But clone?
Well, yeah.
Potato.
And then she just crosses the two lightsabers, says, "I am all the Jedi," and just kabooms him.
So wait a minute. She's not as powerful as her grandfather, who she then kills later in the movie.
She's not as powerful as Snoke, but she does beat the guy more powerful than him that made him in the first place.
That basically is him, right?
Yeah.
Snoke isn't a being, is he?
I don't fucking know. The films don't explain.
So when Slary Goo tries to beat him and he just flicks his fingers, it's because he has instant power and her plot armor disappears for the sake of drama. And then the plot armor goes back up when Kylo Ren goes, "God, I need to get my dick wet."
I love how consistent the power levels are in these films. It really helps me understand the stakes.
Yep.
Here's Jake the Surgeon again. You can't be a mammal if you lay eggs, guys. Good to know.
Tell that to the platypus.
Tell that to the platypus. Okay.
Platypus are the weirdest animals in existence. They're basically proof that God has a sense of humor.
Oh.
What else? Her body, beaver tail, like duck feet, and a spike on its back foot that's poisonous, and then it is able to sense its way through the water like a shark.
You must watch a lot of the Nature Channel there. That's very specific. All right. 3 minutes.
Phineas.
Kylo to kill her. However, Kylo subverted our expectations and killed his master, saving Rey. That's right. Rey needed saving from Kylo. A woman needed to be saved by a man. Rey was completely helpless until a man was able to save her. And people...
That sounds kind of sexist, Gold.
Let's go.
Yeah.
But we've said this point several times already. Is Kylo saves her because she showed up, and Kylo somehow likes Rey.
Because plot.
She gets bailed out. Basically.
Her love interest will often be dating or married to someone else in canon. This is not a problem for Mary Sue, whose author can get rid of the other girl in many ways, including killing her off, derailing her into a hateful person and thus easy to break up with, pretending the relationship never existed, or even letting her step aside or sacrifice herself just so he can be with the Mary Sue. I think the version of that is that this character, that's the love interest. Disturbingly, when author wants to go to the Draco in leather pants, which is Kylo, work for their favorite villain, and ship them with their Sue, the Mary Sue often agrees with the most problematic parts of the villain's philosophy.
I think that the most important question is, you're ignoring why does Kylo kill Snoke? why does he do this? Especially since he's not actually looking for comparable change.
Here we go. Sorry for that. The villains will obsess over her to the point of destroying themselves in their jealousy or opening themselves up to redemption and the realization that she was good all along, usually by having sex with her. So there you go. It's very Mary Sue that the bad guy would go and save the girl. Also, it's a fucking ripoff of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, but I think that, like I said, the bigger question is why does Kylo choose to kill Snoke in this moment, especially since he's not looking for a comparable change after he's gone. He just wants Rey to be in charge with him.
Exactly. He just is horny.
Yeah. But do you think Kylo would have made these decisions if Rey wasn't there?
Hell no.
Exactly. That's why she's there.
She just walks in there and walks out defeating the entire First Order without having to do anything.
She walks in, walks out, and because of that and her doing very little else, Snoke is dead.
And then she flies a plane and shoots 3 people in one shot. And saves everybody because she gets the main canon character to give a shit again. And then Chewbacca pats her on the head.
Here's Jake the Surgeon. Look up the Tully monster, Dunn. It puts the platypus to shame. I've never heard of the Tully monster, so let's try not to change topics too much, but okay, thank you there, Jake. Angel Rin 89. As a female fan, I hate Mary Sue. I can't relate to them. Sorry, Kathleen, I can't relate to Rey. I relate to Luke. That's kind of how it goes. Striker. Echidnas and platypuses both lay eggs. Also, echidnas have 5-headed penises. They are less Mary Sue than Rey.
You're talking about an echnida, right? Like Knuckles, echnida. Echidna. Knuckles the echidna.
Echidna? I don't know.
If you think, how do hedgehogs make other hedgehogs? Very carefully. That's why they have 5 penises. You can afford to skewer 4 of them on the back of your mate.
That makes sense. You're thinking there, huh? Oh, nature. Oh.
5. Well done, nature.
Yeah.
I love this video. Let's finish it off.
All right.
Come on!
Say Ryan Johnson in this movie has an agenda.
We're stronger than this
I don't think it
video.
needs to be elaborated on that Mary Sue would not be in a helpless situation where a man would have to save her. After Snoke is dead, the Dyad fights the Praetorian.
A man? That's
Mary
sexist,
Sue's
Mr. Goldman.
Yeah. The Mary Sue isn't necessarily a product of feminist thinking. It's a product of fangirl thinking. You know, generally like romance style. And so they don't have those preconceived notions of a man saving a woman. In fact, they're more prone to that kind of thing.
Yeah, like Christian Grey and Edward Cullen.
There is a subclass called the victim Sue, so it happens quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, these are common patterns. See, this is why you need to do your research, sir, and find out. Just because this happens doesn't mean she's not a character in duress.
Guards. Now, of course, people use this scene to criticize Rey for being a Mary Sue. Now, a lot of the same things I said for the Starkiller base fight, I think apply here too.
Oh, God.
Rey is still decent at staff combat, but unlike The Force Awakens, this is not the first time she is wielding a lightsaber. Considering she is getting much stronger with the Force, and she has had some time to practice, she is
Within
definitely...
a day.
Practice what?
It's been a day.
She practiced breathing.
She learned of the Force and picked up a lightsaber 2 days ago, and since then she's had 3 and a bit lessons. I say a bit because she self-teaches herself for like half an hour. And then she's beating up people who are paid and trained to guard the supreme leader of the First Order, and she kills she doesn't kill, she goes up against 5 of them. It's like, if I picked up a scimitar on a Tuesday, I would not be able to beat 5 shads at once on a Thursday.
Can you beat Jordan Peterson's lobster troops?
better with lights here than where she was in The Force Awakens. But there are two important aspects of this fight I think help explain why Rey was able to do well in this fight. One aspect of this fight is that Rey is fighting people who do not have the Force. A Force user fighting someone who doesn't have the Force has an extremely large advantage.
How do you know that?
Flying, sword fighting is all about reflexes and predicting where your opponent's next move will be. Jedi have insane reflexes and can see things before they happen. Again, how do you think Jedi are able to block blaster shots?
How was Grievous able to do anything?
This huge advantage, it still takes her like a whole minute to take out this one dude at the end.
Okay, so how come Snoke sucks at sensing the world around him and seeing what's going to happen before?
They cannot see things in the far into the future and predict stuff during combat. It is purely just fast reactions. That's why General Grievous can block lightsaber bolts too. It's not a force power of just being able to predict the future. That's never been the case. First of all. And second of all, you're saying this, they don't use force powers at all in this. Like, at all.
So, Kylo nearly gets killed by these non-force users.
Yes, they are extremely dangerous. And they can withstand a lightsaber attack.
At point.
Some parts of their armor can, some of it can't.
Well, it's entirely dependent on the armor. And I think even then, there's 10 of them.
The breastplate's fine. The breastplate is perfectly penetratable. And then the bracers can block a lightsaber. And this guy just runs up to Kylo and tries pushing on it with both of his hands before he kills him.
And here's the thing: like I said, if I had even 10 years practice with a kendo stick, and then I pick up a scimitar the first day. My first time picking up a scimitar is 2 days from when I fight 5 trained swordsmen at once. I wouldn't put much money on me.
I think that it's actually not that. It's like if you're using a glaive for most of your life and you switch to a longsword.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, we'll go with that one. Not even a glaive. It's like a staff. It's like a polearm.
Staff. Like something with like a mace on either end.
And then Dunn throws me a longsword and says, "Hey, in 2 days' time, you have to fight Shad and 4 of his clones." It's like, good luck. I go, oh shit. How much is riding on this? It's just your life.
Yeah.
I would probably just throw. I think that's even worse. I would be like, here, have ice. It's 5 feet long and it's solid steel. Here you go.
It's like I think my best bet would be to just hope all 5 of them caught carpal tunnel before I had to fight them.
Here is Angel Rin 89. Mary Sue's never need to be saved. No one tell this guy about Bella Swan. She shatters his narrative. Yeah, she is indeed on the scale of Mary Sue-ness, and she gets captured quite a lot.
Getting a bunch of Anomaly Inc. people here.
Hello, gang.
Angel Ren is token female. Nice.
All right, we got 40 seconds left. We can do this.
While Kylo is fighting 3 guards at once. So yeah, a Force wielder fighting a non-Force wielder will always have a huge advantage.
There's 10 of them.
There's quite a lot.
This whole scene, this choreography is a mess because it's overcrowded with people.
Why don't they ever use a Force ability if they have the Force advantage? Why doesn't Kylo use his Force powers?
And again, it's not true that they can see the future.
And how does he know that these guys don't have the Force? How does he know that they're not Force sensitive?
Or at least trained on how to deal with Force combatants.
They clearly have weapons that can defend against lightsabers, so...
Their armor can withstand lightsabers to a degree. So then
there's this part where Kylo takes out a pizza roll and starts talking to the audience.
Hey, isn't it weird that, Rey has no parents?
What is she, a virgin to the Force or something? Isn't it weird how nobody ever gets laid in Star Wars, but everybody's a kid of somebody? What's going on? Is that the script?
Hey, look, it's the guy who throws his weapon away before Kylo kills him. Like, I'm open. Maybe that's why Rey wins, because these guys just decide to die at random intervals.
Like the part of their neck is not well guarded for some reason.
Can you
Also,
like,
why do they have such long skirts? That's a terrible accessory to have in a fight. You're gonna get that caught or trip up over it.
So you can like force push and pull, right? Are there other and you can like force move somebody around? Can I like do a force like purple nurple or like twist your nips or something like that with the force?
They start off boxed in by all these guys. Neither of them leave the ground, like jump over, try and get them in a corner, sort of thing. Even though both of them can clearly force jump.
And Kylo can force choke people.
He can freeze people on the spot.
He can pick a guy up and use him as a lariat and just smash him into all the other guys. There's so many things they could do here, but they decided to just go melee weapons.
Could have done a force choke.
The other
And
point that needs to
he just doesn't have the excuse of being shot in this one either.
the dyad. It is explained in The Rise of
So here we
Skywalker
go.
that
The dyad, of course.
You guys are
Frickin'
forgetting
dyad.
the dyad.
So I can do whatever he fucking wants?
You guys are forgetting dyad.
That is bull crap.
When
They're
in
the
doubt,
dyad, and you gotta
dyad.
deal with it.
You see, I can't
Dyad.
answer this question because, oh, right, I can't. Dyad.
when these two are together, their power increases greatly. And in this scene, Rey and Kylo are together, so their strength in the Force is going to be stronger than it would be if they were apart.
So why does Kylo really get killed in this part right here?
When was this ever
He's
mentioned?
He's being strangled by a guy using the guard of his weapon, and this guy's saying, "See, they're strong together," and Kylo's being choked.
If they're getting stronger, meaning their Force abilities are getting stronger, and they don't use the Force when they're together in a life and death scenario, doesn't that make them dumber?
Yeah. Basically, this movie is dumb people do random incoherent stuff. The movie, it somehow works out in their favor.
It's like you're gonna fight about 10 guys. What do? Just sort of do your best with your weapons, or you could shoot them, or you can throw them around the room like rag dolls, or dump them in that little turbine thing, or throw that giant red whatever you call that veil, just wrap them all up in it. Any number of things. You can launch your lightsaber around the room.
Yeah.
No, gotta fight.
So that's really all I have to say about this fight. I'm not going to comment on the absolutely ridiculous criticism of the choreography or the discipline.
Oh my God,
way,
it's
because
absolutely-
I'm not here to defend every aspect of this movie,
Okay.
nor refute every nitpick that people think is good.
Oh, it's a
criticism.
nitpick.
If I were to do this, then maybe I would have to make a video that is closer to 10 hours.
Uh-huh.
Really? 10 hours of one scene.
The disappearing knife is not a nitpick. If there was no consequence to whether the knife disappeared or not, like if it was on his belt or something and then in one shot it's gone, then it would be a nitpick with no consequences. But this is a nitpick that has a big effect on the film, because if it was there, we'd all be asking, why is Rey not being killed right now?
Okay, we're done, guys. Let me just answer one more super chat. We'll keep on going. Smud, could respond to atrocious YouTuber's wiki article on why Mahler apparently sucks. It gives stupid reasons. Could you make a rest video of it? I don't know what you're talking about. It. What is this wiki article about Mahler? I've never heard of that. So, if you want to link me in Discord, that'd be great. But I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. Anyway, guys, that was half an hour of the Goldman. We are past the halfway mark for getting through this 2.5 hour video.
He shot through that fight scene very quickly.
I know. You didn't want to talk about it. Dyad.
Does one?
Dyad. Okay.
I can't believe how people talk about that. Okay.
And we still have The Rise of Skywalker to go, which is arguably the one where she is at her peak Mary Sue.
Well, then there's no question.
Realize what it will
You don't
be.
even think about it, yeah.
I'm predicting now that all of the arguments for why she isn't a Mary Sue when it comes to The Rise of Skywalker will be A, Dyad, B, she's now had training.
Why does she need training, though? I've always wanted to know, what was she training for? What was she trying to do?
Training, Dyad, Dyad, training, 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 Dyad, training.
Yeah. Okay, guys, that was not as painful as yesterday. I gotta admit, that was pretty dumb, but not smash my head against the wall dumb. More like smash my head against the ground dumb. So not as much force.
It's a dyad.
Dyad dumb. The closer they come together, the dumber they become. All right. Gentlemen, that was great. Thanks for just having great commentary. Oh, man, I'm glad I had a drink before.
Wow, this is exhausting.
It is like all we needed to do was sit this guy down for about 10 minutes and say, dude, this doesn't make sense. That's not an argument.
Dude, how can you make every argument and then keep it consistent when none of it's consistent? Like it's a dyad. This is the reason why this works. And then suddenly when they're together and Snoke is there, then they're not more powerful against Snoke. Snoke is much more powerful than them. But Palpatine is actually Snoke at the same time, or is influencing them and is the voice inside Kylo's head. And then
his points contradict his previous points. It's kind of weird when you say that Snoke is so much more powerful, but now they're much more powerful. Therefore, Snoke is dead. It's like, wait, no. If Snoke is more powerful, he would have sensed everything. And no, it just which one is it? Who's more powerful?
Rey's, I just love this. What we're leaving on is like Rey's not a Mary Sue, even though the entire First Order's command dies because they're like their young warrior falls for her without even like kissing her or anything. Like there's no love story there at all. And she's also weirdly attracted to this serial killer guy. It's really weird.
One of the elements of Mary Sue is everyone likes her to the point of like over the topness. Like they just admire them so much they'll do anything. Like save their lives.
And Snoke ditches his plan to be invested in Luke Skywalker because Rey is more awesome. Again, just not a Mary Sue apparently.
I'm all the Jedi.
And then she kills the bad guy of the first six movies with one shot.
No, she was defensive. Remember, that's her strength. She's defensive, right? She's so strong. She's offensive when she's defensive.
Yeah.
She started she got into her first fight supposedly 9 years ago and has since had decades worth of defensive combat experience.
Math is good. Okay, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We might have another one tomorrow if we can take it. I don't know about these guys. I can do it, but always nice to have some backup and different commentary.
You can do it.
Yeah, if we can
I can do this all day.
Oh yeah,
You can do it.
Well, if you want to have game nights, guys, we have the option. I've listed the two new Discord options for you guys to fill in. Whether you want game night or movie night, just pop the dates in, and we'll try to get a thing going. And I'll tell everyone when we can do that. I can do basic recording. I can't do much video editing, but I can do basic recording for anyone who wants to make a video on our movie night. But I can stream game night, so that's always cool. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. Keep the suggestions coming. We're going to try and finish this off this week. I don't think it's going to happen, so I say 2 weeks. That's why I originally thought this would take a lot longer, but we're going by pretty well. So we're past the halfway mark. I would say somewhere around Tuesday or Wednesday if things work out. So, all right. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye-bye.